वेलकम ऑल ऑफ यू सर।
जी जी
डॉक्टर सिंह साहब।
जी जी।
हाँ, डॉक्टर अनीस साहब, अमित आनंद जी, रमेश सर, डॉक्टर रमेश सर।
सर थैंक यू।
वेलकम प्रोफेसर मीनू पराबिया सर। आवाज नहीं आ रही सर, प्लीज अनम्यूट योर सेल्फ। प्रोफेसर पराबिया साहब, प्लीज अनम्यूट योर सेल्फ। आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
हेलो, हाउ आर यू डॉक्टर कन मिश्रा? कैन यू हियर मी?
वेलकम सर।
कैन यू हियर मी नाउ?
वेलकम सर। रीवा का याद है, आप हमारे पहली कॉन्फ्रेंस में रीवा पधारे थे।
या ऑफ कोर्स
जी।
I had an opportunity to meet with my friend डॉक्टर जीपी श्रीवास्तव।
हाँ यस सर, श्रीवास्तव साहब, और हमारी प्रिंसिपल जहाँ आप रुके थे मैडम सिंह।
जी मैडम के वहां पर या। हाउ आर यू?
पांडु अच्छा हूँ सर, बस अब 3-4 साल और हैं हमारे।
अरे बहुत है 3-4 साल बहुत होते हैं
जी। और डॉक्टर पांडुरंगन सर आ जाएं तो अपन शुरुआत करते हैं।
हाँ जी
जी। आज सर हमने इंफॉर्मेशन दे दी थी, जो पहली हमारी वॉल्यूम है जो 2021-22 में वेबिनार हुए थे और उनके जो राइटअप मिले थे, उसका बुक हमने बना लिया है और 52 आर्टिकल हैं बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व का, और दूसरी बुक भी हमारी तैयार हो गई है, और जिसमें अपने सिंह साहब का भी, डॉक्टर सिंह साहब का भी उसमें आर्टिकल है। उसको संभवतः
बहुत बढ़िया
इंट्रोडक्टरी सेशन के दिन जो है उसको भी हम निकालेंगे। आज थोड़ा सा काम बकाया रह गया था, तो मैं आज मैं पहला वॉल्यूम और शायद 29 को मैं सेकंड वॉल्यूम जो नेशनल पार्क और वाइल्ड लाइफ पर है उसको निकालेंगे। जी।
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Professor Cyril Vijay Sundara from Sri Lanka.
Morning. Good morning.
तब तक हम लोग सरस्वती माँ का पूजन करते हैं और अपने इवेंट चेयरपर्सन से बात हो गई है और वो जल्दी ही ज्वाइन करने जा रहे हैं। अपने इंस्टीट्यूट के प्रिंसिपल प्रोफेसर एस.एम. शुक्ला सर और सीनियर प्रोफेसर आर.के. तिवारी सर, मैडम डॉक्टर शैलजा सचान से निवेदन करूंगा कि वो माँ सरस्वती के पूजन के लिए प्रस्तुत हों। या कुंदेन्दुसारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावर्दण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर कविकुलवंदिता तामां सरस्वती भगवती नीते जाट्यापा।
Connect.
No, invece di giochi ci per qui ci va.
Good morning. Morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Dr. Mishra.
Good morning.
Dr. Ansari.
Good morning.
There was some power problem here. We got it right now.
Good morning, Dr. Pandurangan sir.
Good morning, everybody.
माँ सरस्वती के पूजन के बाद कार्यक्रम का अगला सोपान
Can you hear me?
करता हूँ। शासकीय माधव सदाशिवराव गोलवलकर महाविद्यालय रीवा मध्य प्रदेश में बायोडायवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन एंड सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट थीम पर 25 अगस्त से 29 अगस्त तक इंटरनेशनल वेबिनार सीरीज का आयोजन मध्य प्रदेश शासन उच्च शिक्षा विभाग एवं महाविद्यालय IQAC के सौजन्य से किया जा रहा है। इंटरनेशनल वेबिनार के इनाग्रल सेशन में सेशन के चेयरपर्सन प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर H. मेनुप्राबिया, फॉर्मर प्रोफेसर एंड हेड बायो साइंस डिपार्टमेंट SB साउथ गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी एंड हेड फाउंडर बापालाल बॉटनिकल रिसर्च विद्या बॉटनिकल रिसर्च सेंटर साउथ यूनिवर्सिटी गुजरात का मैं स्वागत करता हूं। सत्र के को चेयरपर्सन डॉक्टर G. राजकुमार एवं डॉक्टर रविशंकर थोपाली का महाविद्यालय की ओर से स्वागत है। इनाग्रल सेशन के इमिनेंट स्पीकर डॉक्टर A.G. पांडुरंगन, एडवाइजर एनवायरमेंट एंड बायोडायवर्सिटी सेंटर फॉर इनोवेशन इन साइंस ऑफ साउथ एक्शन तिरुअनंतपुरम एंड फॉर्मर डायरेक्टर JNTBGRI केरला का हम महाविद्यालय की ओर से वेलकम करते हैं। सत्र के स्पेशल गेस्ट डॉक्टर महेश्वर धाकल, डॉक्टर महेश्वर धाकल, डायरेक्टर जनरल डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ नेशनल पार्क वाइल्ड लाइफ कंजर्वेशन नेपाल, प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर सिरिल विजय सुंदरा, रिसर्च प्रोफेसर नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ फंडामेंटल स्टडीज कैंडी श्रीलंका, श्री ब्रज किशोर सिंह IFS हेड फॉरेस्ट फोर्स कर्नाटका, डॉक्टर अनूप नायक फार्मर ADG प्रोजेक्ट टाइगर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, डॉक्टर BS कोरी IFS फार्मरली PCC ऑफ केरला, डॉक्टर K. वेंकट रमन फार्मर डायरेक्टर जूलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया चेन्नई, प्रोफेसर राधा चौबे BHU वाराणसी, प्रोफेसर अविनाश कौर नागपाल गुरु नानक देव यूनिवर्सिटी अमृतसर सहित सभी सत्रों के इमिनेंट स्पीकर, चेयरपर्सन, को चेयरपर्सन, एक्सपर्ट एवं ऑडियंस का महाविद्यालय परिवार से स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन है। 4 दिवसीय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय वेबिनार में कुल 28 इनवाइटेड टॉक प्रस्तुत की जाएंगी, जिसमें विविधता से संबंधित प्लांट डाइवर्सिटी, वाइल्ड लाइफ, एनवायरमेंट, कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी विषय पर नेपाल, श्रीलंका, पाकिस्तान सहित भारत के विभिन्न प्रमुख शोध संस्थानों, विश्वविद्यालयों, महाविद्यालय के प्राध्यापक गणों तथा फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के ऑफिसर्स के द्वारा इमिनेंट टॉक्स प्रस्तुत की जाएंगी तथा चेयरपर्सन और को चेयरपर्सन के रूप में अपने विचार साझा करेंगे। कार्यक्रम का विस्तृत प्रोग्राम सभी को पूर्व में ही भेज दिया गया है। इंटरनेशनल वेबिनार सीरीज के उद्घाटन अवसर पर महाविद्यालय में सत्र 2021-22 में आयोजित नेशनल एवं इंटरनेशनल वेबिनार सीरीज में प्रस्तुत किए गए इमिनेंट टॉक्स के आर्टिकल को संकलित कर बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व, बॉटेनिकल गार्डन, जूलॉजिकल पार्क, म्यूजियम एंड बायोडाइवर्सिटी ऑफ इंडिया प्रोसीडिंग पुस्तक का सॉफ्ट कॉपी निर्माण किया गया है, जिसके विमोचन हेतु बुक रिलीज हेतु इनाग्रल सेशन के चेयरपर्सन प्रोफेसर मेनुप्राबिया सर तथा इमिनेंट स्पीकर डॉक्टर पांडुरंगन सर से आग्रह है कि साथ ही सभी गेस्ट से की सॉफ्ट कॉपी पुस्तक का विमोचन करेंगे। इस पुस्तक में कुल 52 आर्टिकल संकलित हैं। प्रथम खंड बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व में देश के समस्त 18 बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व से संबंधित 24 आर्टिकल्स। द्वितीय खंड में बॉटेनिकल गार्डन में भारत के प्रमुख राष्ट्रीय शोध विश्वविद्यालय तथा फॉरेस्ट गार्डन के साथ ही आर्किडेरिया से संबंधित 10 आर्टिकल हैं। तृतीय खंड जूलॉजिकल पार्क में देश के कलकत्ता, चेन्नई, जमशेदपुर, तिरुपति, कुद्रेमुख, बेंगलोर के जूलॉजिकल पार्क से संबंधित आर्टिकल सम्मिलित हैं। चतुर्थ खंड म्यूजियम के अंतर्गत इंडियन म्यूजियम कलकत्ता की वनस्पति एवं जूलॉजिकल गैलरीज, चेन्नई म्यूजियम के बॉटेनिकल बेल्ट से संबंधित आर्टिकल हैं। पंचम खंड बायोडाइवर्सिटी ऑफ इंडिया के अंतर्गत इंडिया सहित गुजरात, राजस्थान, अंडमान निकोबार, नागालैंड की जैव विविधता संरक्षण एवं प्रबंधन के साथ ही अर्बन फॉरेस्ट इकोसिस्टम, कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी आदि पर 10 आर्टिकल सम्मिलित हैं। आशा है कि पुस्तक विषय के शोध छात्रों तथा संरक्षित क्षेत्रों की जैव विविधता के संरक्षण हेतु उपयोगी होंगी। उपरोक्त आर्टिकल विश्वविद्यालय के प्राध्यापकों, शोध केंद्र के वैज्ञानिकों, फॉरेस्ट ऑफिसर द्वारा प्रस्तुत किए गए हैं। पुस्तक का प्रकाशन महाविद्यालय जन भागीदारी समिति IQAC तथा नेशनल एकेडमी ऑफ साइंस भोपाल चैप्टर के सौजन्य से किया गया है। वेबिनार की प्रोसीडिंग बुक वॉल्यूम 2 नेशनल पार्क, टाइगर रिजर्व, वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी एंड बायोडाइवर्सिटी का कार्य लगभग पूर्ण हो चुका है, जिसमें 54 आर्टिकल सम्मिलित हैं। कोशिश है कि वेबिनार के वैलिडेटरी सेशन 29 अगस्त को पुस्तक के द्वितीय वॉल्यूम का विमोचन भी हो सकेगा। अंत में मैं पुनः आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं इस कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत। आप लोगों ने जो समय दिया है उसके लिए भी और यहाँ पर कार्यक्रम में जुड़े हैं सभी का स्वागत है इस बात पुनः। ये सर हमारे महाविद्यालय की ओर से आदरणीय चेयरपर्सन साहब प्रोफेसर मीनू प्राविया साहब और डॉक्टर पांडुरंगन सर, सभी गेस्ट स्पीकर्स, चेयरपर्सन और को चेयरपर्सन का स्वागत है बुके के द्वारा।
थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर।
यस। अब पुस्तक के विमोचन का है। हमने आपके व्हाट्सएप में पुस्तक शेयर किया है। प्लीज उसको स्टार्ट करके उसको एक बार देख करके और विमोचन का कार्य संपन्न करें, बुक रिलीज का। अपने स्क्रीन पे
Yes, the volume. Volume 1 we have received. Thank you very much. And the book inaugurated in this one.
Yes.
You all have received, Dr. Sarmeshwar. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
पांडुरंगन सर नमस्कार।
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
ये कहाँ से?
नमस्कार।
और डॉक्टर प्रोफेसर मीनू प्राविया सर से आग्रह है कि अपना इमिनेंट स्पीकर डॉक्टर पांडुरंगन सर का ब्रीफ बायोडाटा उन्हें हमने शेयर कर दिया था, यहाँ पर प्रस्तुत करें।
Thank you very much, Dr.
अंसारी सर नमस्कार। नमस्कार सभी को।
वेलकम शुक्रवार साहब।
नमस्कार।
Thank you very much.
यस सर।
अब किताब का हो गया?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
So,
Please introduce eminent speaker.
yeah,
अच्छा चलिए.
it is my great pleasure to introduce our eminent speaker of this conservationist, a conservation biologist, and environmental impact assessment expert. Presently, he is giving his services as an advisor to the Center of Innovation in Science and Social Action. Formerly, he was the director of one very premier and very famous research institute in botany of India, Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden and Research Institute. His scientific contributions are immense, as seen by nearly 23 research and development projects handled by him, which includes biosphere reserve impact assessment due to hydro project, and he has formed the Western Ghat forest of Kerala, and he has discovered 28 new species, which is very the commendable work from the doctor. And not only that, but some of the work which have been earlier published and only type specimens were existing, those about 40 species are rediscovered by him. He has identified nearly 450 endemic species which are endemic, rare, and threatened for the further conservation measures. And not only that, but 30 such species are restored back to the nature by Dr. Pandurangan. He has 186 research papers at his credit, published in national and international journals. He has 4 edited books at his credit, and he has attended 81 conferences, guided 15 doctoral theses. Dr. Pandurangan is a recipient of many prestigious awards and accolades from the premier scientific institutions of the country as well as abroad, and he has made a memorable niche by his presence at different institutions, including one of in my home state of Gujarat, in Gujarat State Biotechnology Mission. He has been a member, a very active member for so many years. His scientific existence is made immortal by naming 4 new species after him, that is Rhynchospora pandurangani, Impatiens pandurangani, Carex pandurangani, and Hymenacne pandurangani. Today, he will be speaking on plant diversity in India, status, destination, distribution, and conservation, a review. I also welcome here my co-chairman, Dr. G. Rajkumar, and I would request Dr. Pandurangan to start his presentation. Thank you very much, sir. Most welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Now I will open my presentation. And
डॉक्टर थुपाली सर एज ए को चेयर हैं सर. बी राजकुमार सर एक्चुअली वहाँ कॉन्फ्रेंस है, उसमें बिजी हैं. डॉक्टर रविशंकर थुपाली ज्वाइन कर लिए हैं. वेलकम सर.
मिस्टर मिश्रा जी, मैं गौहती एयरपोर्ट में है. 12 बजे को मेरा फ्लाइट वो चेक इन कर दिया, बोर्डिंग करने के वेट करता हूँ. इसलिए मैं वाइस को चेयरमैन को नहीं कर सकते. The moment they call me to board, I will leave, but I will participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Most welcome, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Ansari Sahab.
Good morning.
Morning, Pandu. Morning, Pandu.
I would request all other participants to please mute themselves so we can hear to the speaker very well.
Dr. Pandurangan, unmute your.
Open it. Mishra, can you see the slide?
Not, yeah, now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, it is clear.
Please,
You can-
maximize.
No, sir. Please, full screen.
Please make it full screen.
Oh, I stopped it.
Yes, sir.
On. Here. Yeah. Dr. Mishra, can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But not full screen, sir.
1 minute. Full screen.
नहीं, फुल स्क्रीन तो है सर, ऑलरेडी फुल स्क्रीन ही है.
No, good morning, sir. Actually, you have to go to slideshow.
You show this slideshow. Yeah. This is bigger one. Put here.
No. At the bottom, you will see icons. Then, yeah, next to this.
This is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now can you see the slides?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Respected organizers and chairman of the session and my dear colleagues, I thank for the organizer for giving an opportunity to share our experiences, particularly the plant diversity studies, which I have conducted for the last 40 years, right from 1982. So he has organized and requested, particularly this is a very important seminar, biodiversity conservation and sustainable development. So with this, I thought how the conservation movement, actually, conservation movement starts in fact the United Nations started the first United Human Conference, United Nations Human Environment and Development in 1972, gave many of the member countries to take stock of our genetic resources. Then subsequently, after 20 years, in 1992 at Rio de Janeiro, the entire countries across the world assembled to take stock of the last 20 years work, but they found out that many of our species still getting extinct right in front of our nose, and they found out what is the problem, where many of our countries spend millions and billions of rupees for conservation, but still they are not able to arrest the species extinction process. During the discussions, in fact, it gave for 3 important conventions. One is biological CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity. The second one, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And the third one is the United Nations Convention on Framework on particularly combat desertification. All the 3 conventions are actually interrelated. And among these, the CBD came into being first in 29th December 1993, and the people are working to seriously conserve as per the provisions of the CBD. The CBD says very clearly every country is having their own unique biodiversity, their sovereign property, conserved properly, and also the third important clause is actually free and fair and equitable sharing are important pillars, particularly for biodiversity conservation. But simultaneously, what happened when the intellectual property rights came? Now everybody started looking our biodiversity not only for mere conservation, but now trying to assess the economic potential. That has given you a whole lot, a new dimension, particularly in a conservation. And now in this context, how India is actually did well to manage the situation to conserve our biodiversity. Let us look into that.
Dr. Pandurangan sir, your slide not moving. Slide not moving.
Now it is moving?
No sir.
Is it moving?
No.
Hello?
No. Not moving.
Slides are moving. Is it moving?
No, it is not moving.
Is it moving?
No.
Here, it is getting moving here.
Yeah, but maybe you can reduce it and then click on the side, each slide you will see, no?
Yeah, that's how I have reduced it actually.
Yeah, like that. Now it is moving.
It's moving?
Yeah, now it is moving. Yes, that is how. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it is okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as you all know that the biodiversity is encompassed about the occurring of variability among living organisms. As you are well aware, these diversities occur within and between and the ecosystem level. So now it is very clearly understood that the biodiversity provides, in fact, the essentials, host of goods and services which are very essential for sustenance of life, not only the biodiversity but the entire humanity is directly dependent on conserving our plant biodiversity. In fact, helps to secure the ecological security, also the services, and also to reduce the carbon footprint, which in fact able to stabilize our global agency have started to assess the hotspots, because the plant biodiversity or animal biodiversity is not equally distributed across the species. These hotspots can be distributed across the different continents. So if you look this program starts.
The slide is not moving.
Organized.
Okay.
I'm telling India is holding actually 4 hotspots. See, it is moving?
Yes.
Yeah, it is moving.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the one which how these hotspots are being recognized based on the global level, that is the species concentrations. Earlier there was a thumb rule as every 100 square kilometer having 500 species is considered to be a hotspot. But now more quantitative things, data has been incorporated and now expanded to 10,000 square kilometer. If the 10,000 square kilometers exceeding, having more than 1,500 to 2,000 species is considered to be a species area concentration. And if you see that the tropical regions are actually having the maximum hotspot regions, and whereas India, you can see that it is more than 3,000 to 4,000 species, particularly in Western Ghats and Eastern Himalayas, Northeastern regions. So that shows how diversity, that is, India holds nearly only, but yet 8% of our biodiversity occurs, among which nearly floral taxa is around 55,000 and faunal species over 91,000 species. But if you see that these species by our what you call the policies as well as the laws, and so far right now the protected areas in India are about 1019 areas. One or other way it's get legal protection, which goes to around 4.93%. But Government of India for the last 10 years trying to expand to 5.2%, but due to various stakeholders conflicts, we are unable to now expand that area. Right now the wildlife sanctuary is 551, national parks 10, protected areas 131, conservation reserve, community biosphere 1.6 lakh square kilometer. And also all the major types of ecosystems are encountered across the world or being reported in India. And 12 and ecosystem diversity. This is another important because of its geographical position where India stands actually leads to 3 geographical realms. One is Indo-Burma, Paleo-Arctic and Afrotropical, which constitute nearly so that gives around 21% of the area is under forest cover, and mangroves in India is almost about 6,700 square kilometers. That is 7% of the world's mangroves are exist, and the coral reef, other unique marine ecosystems occur in the country, particularly Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Gulf of Kutch and Gulf of Mannar, having very important marine ecosystems which improve our marine life as well as our fisheries sectors. These are some of the forest evergreen, solas, grasslands, because riparian forests you can see. And this is what I told, the biogeographic realms actually. That is why India is considered to be 10 among the world richest biodiversity and also 4th in the Asian countries. That is why it's aptly designated as 17 megadiversity countries in the world. And as I pointed out, there are 4 biodiversity hotspots, especially the Eastern Himalayas, Western Ghats, Indo-Burma and Nicobar Islands, out of 36 hotspots recognized in the world. These floristically significant areas, particularly 60 to 70% of our floral elements are concentrated in these micro-endemics, and also certain isolated pockets in Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, concentrate the exceptional concentration of the endemic species and also experiencing the loss of habitat with the higher occurrence of threatened species in these areas. That itself shows that is apt for designating as a hotspot. Hotspot means not only the concentration of endemic species, but at the same time prone for species extinction also due to various reasons. And if you look the floristic wealth, how our flora constitute in India. For example, seed plants. Seed plants constitute about 43% of our flora, and followed by 31% of the fungi and 9% of the particular pteridophytes and bryophytes equally. And so microbes are still, people are only 4%, but still it's now many of our research institutes are now working on the microbes so that in the future the microbial numbers may increase. And if you look the percentage of contribution, where these our floras are occur or represented from different phytogeographical regions. As I told that Indians plate situation, location as well as its latitude, altitudinal and topographic ranges coupled with the active both the monsoons actually in fact contribute for the development of enormous diversity. See the Western Ghats. Western Ghats alone is only 1,600 kilometer length. The entire Ghats is harbor nearly 23% of our Indian flora, followed by Western Himalayas, Eastern Himalayas, East Coast, West Coast, and other rest of these areas. So that if you concentrate on the phytogeographical region, still we would be able to collect, conserve by aptly designating protected areas based on the carrying capacity of the each area. So for designated for the conservation purpose, so that we can able to protect our species diversity. You see that when you come into the angiosperm or the flowering plants, they are the most dominant group, and quickly will come into our mind. As per the recent 21 BSI record, there are 21,984 flowering taxa are recorded under 2,775 genera and 268 families. That's representing nearly 11.4% of the global flora. And there are 33, 33 families. 42 families having more than 100 species, and 33 families at the interestingly having represented by only one species, single species. See the entirely contrast. Among the 43, these are the largest 10 large families I have given with the genera and the species, whereas these 33 families represented by single species in India is very important to understand the evolutionary aspects of these species, because its closely relatives are occurring in neighboring countries or different continents, which can able to give you a clue about the floral evolution. And interestingly, again, 236 genera are monotypic. That means they represent only single species. And the interesting, if you see some of the taxa, see this is impatiens. The genus impatiens is very interesting. There are 236 taxa are so far reported. This is the one species which I have described from Idiki. Impatiens colomovensis. These are different colors. The same species. That is the impact. Though important, because even though 21,000 species are reported, but still we have enormous species within the diversity, within this level. That is very important from the economic potential point of view. And last 5 years, nearly 50 species of impatiens have been described from Indian subcontinent. That is very interesting. And there are other genus, Primula, Ficus, Carex, and all having more, and rhododendron, very important. There are 97 species, but though there are 137 taxa reported, outside there are certain species are extended to other regions also, adjacent Nepal and Bhutan regions, and then Syzygium about 91 species. These are the very important genus with not only floristic diversity, but at the same time it is economically very important. And you see the wetlands. Wetlands are very interesting, important. There are nearly 50% of the aquatic flowering plants are occurring in the Indian wetlands. Actually, these wetlands are very important, ecologically important, and also provide moisture regime to the local area and providing drinking and water facilities for irrigations and so on. But there are certain aquatic angiosperms, in fact, provide a lot of economic return to the local people. They collect and go to the field and then collect and sell to the public, and which are very nutritious actually. And the flowers also they are harvesting and distributed during the festival seasons. And you see the coastal wetlands. Coastal wetlands are very important. These coastal wetlands are actually a buffer zone between sea, land, and aquatic wetlands. And there are very important. There are many species that are confined to this area, and these are very economically important for local people. This is the one particular scrippers is very important for the local people. They are harvesting, and mat weaving industries are because of this. Actually, it is growing naturally. And see the coastal wetlands, especially in Kerala, which we have assessed, there are many new species have been described. These were all not much concentrated earlier, but many of our research institutes working on different micro endemic centers, we could see that a lot of new species even rediscovered to be an extinct ring coast. The interesting only because of the bird movement, it moved to, when you see the movement of the species, it comes from Australia to Papua New Guinea, and then Malaysian Islands, then Andaman Islands, and then the new wetlands of the Kerala. So that means you can see that the seeds are the seeds are used by the birds, and then they are moving from one place to another. It has been distributed actually. And if you look into the phytogeographical affinities of our flora, that is what, as I told, because of these three realms, it's contribute nearly, the Gondwana origin is actually nearly 30% Indian origin. Still it is endemic to this area. And Indo-Malayan moves from this region about 28%. Sri Lankan origin, that is 14% of our plants are common to Sri Lanka. And West Asia is around 10%, and Pantropical about 7%. Paleoarctic, that is Paleoarctic from these areas are moved to nearly 6%. And African regions, pure dry deciduous elements from African is concentrated in Gondwana, that is southern India. These are the, so that plants from almost all over the globe has moved and established as a part of our natural flora. And coming into the agrobiodiversity, India is considered to be one of the 8th crop center, actually, globally known as a crop center. And among that, the northeastern India is considered to be one of the cradle of angiosperms, because 130 species, primitive species, are reported from the northeastern regions. That is why Taktajan called it as a cradle of flowering plants in India, and also recognized India as one of the 12 Wavelian centers of origin. And this is because if you see that agricultural or horticultural crops are 167 species, and wild relatives of cultivated crops about 320, and one among the land race of the rice is about 50 to 60,000 species, and medicinal plants so far about 7,500 species. This enormous diversity is due to crop diversity, is due to particularly different agroclimatic regions, and also with the indigenous people, they are practicing a traditional agriculture which gave rise to lot of land races actually. This is the most important, that is why this is the Hindustan crop center. India is considered aptly actually. And also around 7,500 medicinal plants were recorded. Among that, 3,000 species are only documented by different codified systems, and rest are being distributed as knowledge with the tribal communities, so that this our agro ecosystem as well as the medicinal plant species. And this is the one I just want to show, that one district in Kerala, this is called the Wayanad district. There are 20 varieties of traditional rices. Still people are growing, locals and tribal people are growing as a, what you call, as a broadcasting, that is a dry land crop. There is no, during rainy season they just broadcast, and within 3 months it is ready. So this is the rice varieties of one district in Kerala. Then you can imagine, you can work in different tribal villages, you can able to cultivate in different jump blossoms, so that definitely it will take care of our, what you call, the food basket. And the medicinal plants, I just want to show that in my earlier in our garden, there is a Coccinea fenestratum. Otherwise, is used for mostly of what do you call vital relatives, but they are very nutritious, and our people are working. Bacteria cuttolensis. This is a species wild, and the nutritional aspects is much. And we have developed a mechanism to unique in our biodiversity is about 20 ways endemic India. 4,381 endemic pets as recorded now. Among them, 4,003 our angiosperm, 12 gymnosperms, 66 pteridophytes, and they are all distributed in 1,007 genera and 176 families. Among that, 58 genera are exclusively endemic to India. These are distributed in 25 micro-endemic centers, and as you know already, is the 4 mega centers. So they are very important, especially when CBD comes into being. Now it is now India is already enacted its Biodiversity Act to protect, so that we can able to, by not only conserving our genetic resources, and at the same time we can able to make use of the certain provisions to our advantages. That is very important. Very important. CBD. And this is the endemic paleo-endemics you may be knowing. They are once well established, but due to inflexible nature, they are confined to certain areas. They are, in fact, they are considered as a paleo-endemics or the living fossil. These are some of the collections across India we are conserving in our institute. And the endemic balsam, as I told, which is very important for working phytogeographically as well as horticulturally, very important. Many of these balsams are even thought to be extinct. We could be able to relocate, bring back to our institute, and they are growing in our garden. And this is the endemics belt in Malabar coast. There are certain regions in Malabar, very active center of speciation, especially for grass species. This is the one area in Kasaragod and Kannur. Within these two districts, more than 23 schemum and endemic species of grasses are described, and they are only within 3 months their life. This is called actually the plateaus. That is particularly this region flora is almost resemble with the flora of South Africa. Actually, this is very interesting. That gives you a clue that our Gondwana land was once about 130 million years back. It was almost common, and then 76 million years back there's break and then move towards northern. This is an evidence. We have recently collected one more species which is occurring in the South Africa, and recently we located in these regions actually. So that shows our flora is a part of Gondwana land earlier. And this is actually endemism we worked out for more authentic for quantifications. The southern western Ghats, the area, and 4,600 species, nearly 32% of the species are endemic. Eastern Himalayas, nearly 30%. Sikkim Himalayas, 18%. Andaman and Nicobar Islands are 11%. These are the endemic species to Indian flora, actually. And if you see the biodiversity, there 30% of the geographical area of our country includes Himalayas, Northeast, Western Ghats, Nicobar Islands, and northeastern states. If you conserve properly these 4 regions, nearly 70% of the flora we can able to concern. As you know that many of these other regions are highly influenced because of our population and also developmental activities, so that habitats and forests get fragmented. That means habitat loss that leads to the survival. That is why there nearly 2.4% of the globally endangered plants are occurring in the Indian subcontinent. The number of plant discoveries made from Indian states is even still we are continuing. Botanical and Zoological Survey of India is continuing to be engaged in the restoration exploration, and you see that in 21 Kerala tops nearly 51 taxa have been described. Kerala followed by Maharashtra and all. But what I feel, there is the northeastern states, Manipur, Nagaland, and still some of the Tripura and all, though there is numbers, but if you people are able to concentrate in these areas, still many new species are still waiting for our discovery. That is what I feel, because here most of these institutes, there are good number of R&D institutes taking care, so that there is a lot of explorations are going on here. But unfortunately, our northeastern region is cradle of flowering plants, still has to be spend enough resources as well as manpower to survey and then bring out more and more new species to the record. And you see the number of seed plants, that is the entire what I told. And again you see this, there are 25, so that it can see that there are good number of R&D institutes are working here. But unfortunately, many states, Sikkim and the smaller states, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and I think it's a time to spend our energy, and I hope that Botanical Survey of India will take into the responsibility to do the exploration of these understudied area, actually. And you see the Western Ghats, I'm just showing some of, they are very beautiful and ornamental actually. They are all very ornamental species actually, and we are growing in our garden, and this we are working on even ornamental potential, ornamental and landscape potential, so that we can able to popularize. And you see the botanical curios. As you know that there are certain species are very important as curios actually, because as you say that they develop a kind of luminescence in the night and attract the insects. So that since these plants are unable to synthesize certain proteins, they depend on the animal proteins for their growth. So these are in TBGRI, we have developed nearly 16 new varieties by combining with our Indian species, that is Nymphaeus casciana, and we are in the process of releasing to the public actually. And look into the factors inducing rarity. See, as I come into that, as I told that India is having a very, the enormous body of actually the constitutional body, which have enough laws and provisions for conserving our, the biodiversity and natural resources. In fact, the Indian Constitution, particularly the Part 12 and the Article 246 gives a very clear the responsibility of the central as well as the state committees, state governments for conserving, and also enacted very recently, the number 10 years for Biological Diversity Act, which came into being, and it is already working at a three-tier systems actually. That is at national level NBA and state level state biodiversity boards and BMCs at the local level, so that they are working in tandem and hope. But at the same time, whatever our R&D institutions and governments are involved, but ultimately the common man who has to realize. That means what we have to do as a scientific community, we have to develop what you call a conscious actually random, that is realization of among the general public systematically that our existence directly depend upon the existence of the plants and animals. So these are the factors when you look into the inducing rarity. The habitat disturbance leads to fragmentation, and the biology and potential of the many of our species also responsible for overexploitation, and the exotic species, unmindful of introducing exotic species, having creating a catastrophe on our natural flora, and of course natural calamities and climate change, and these are also contributing to the loss of the species. But we can gain also by suitably declaring the protected areas, betterment of policies, restoration program. Now restoration programs are getting widely appreciated, and many of our national institutes are providing financial assistance for the restoration. And then see that, keep in mind how best we can able to sustainably use and present and passed on these resources, not only for our present generation but for our future also. So this is why I just want to show you our expertise in Western Ghats. There are 900 species. Already Botanical Survey of India about 30 years back brought out the 3 volumes of a data book with the 626 rare species. Out of that, nearly 133 are endangered. But the revised work, we have done it. These are the different habits, possibly extinct. We could not able to cite for the last 25 to 30 years these species, and totally critically endangered, vulnerable, and low risk or near threatened group, and data deficient. This is very important for the scientific community to work on about what about these species, whether they are really exist in the wild, what is the problem they are facing. So before actually assigned to any of these categories. So out of these 900 species, these are the different habit-wise. Particularly see the trees. The trees are very important because their gestation period is minimum will be 10 years for the first flowering and fruiting. So if you are unable to protect them, even some of the species, even before coming to the reproductive stage, we may lose. That shrubs, herbs, different types of climbers. So this is for the, I'm just providing for the academic importance. And see that the sinking arc, as I told, that extinction prone species, these are the species we are unable to relocate for the last 40 years. So that, but still there is a possibility of somewhere, still there is a possibility of occurring few individuals before declaring into the possibly even extinct. That's why we treated them as a possibly extinct species. And see some of the threatened species are the standards which we have collected alive, and then by using a conventional as well as biotechnological tools, we are propagating and reintroducing back with the State Forest Department help. These are the Ipsia malabarica is now well established, and this is another important very important members of the Asclepidaceae, particularly Seraphidias. Important. These are the very important only single, that is endemic orchid, lady sleeper orchid. We are able to propagate, and now we are even selling to the public because of so that people can grow and then protect them also. And see some of the threatened species, that is a wild pepper, that is Piper barbary, and this is another endemic species. This is one form. This is a very important form. Actually, this is occurring in the certain remote areas where people as well as elephant cannot reach this Kondapana. And some of the rare balsams thought to be extinct were collected, and we are conserving in our area. And they are very beautiful also, actually. They are very horticulturally important species. And see, so what I want to conclude is, role of research and technology is important. We do that, but it is very important at the same time to make awareness about the public, about the importance of biodiversity, particularly plant diversity for our sustenance. As they pointed out, biodiversity conservation doesn't happen in a vacuum. As we have seen, it requires the participation of many different groups of people working with various conservation mechanisms, both in situ and ex situ. Biodiversity policy and conservation activities are informed, enhanced and driven by the research and technology. So whatever we do, that has to be supported by science and technology. Otherwise, our conservation will be mere a conversation, as Dr. Swaminathan pointed out. So with this, I want to conclude that biodiversity can't be maintained by protecting a few species in a zoo or by preserving green belts or national parks. To function properly, nature needs more room than it can maintain itself. However, without human expense, without zookeepers, park rangers, foresters, or gene banks, all it needs is to be left alone. But this is a very important question. How can we leave it alone to give enough space for their evolutionary, continue the evolutionary process? But this is very important. Though it is a very simple, it looks like the leave it alone. But a country with 140, billion people, so we cannot able to leave all of them, all the areas alone. But the new concept has come out. Now they are working on how we have to live with the wilderness, so that mutually we can respect and live amicably, so that the new concept says that a healthy relationship we have to build between environment and human being. So with this I conclude, and I thank the organizers once again for giving me an opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pandurangan. It was indeed very enlightening lecture on plant biodiversity of India and the other aspects what you have touched into it. It was very educative and enlightening. You have touched to the health aspect, economic, ecological aspects of biodiversity. Not only that, but you have shown the global scenario and shown India's position in this global scenario. And then what India possesses. It was very interesting to know. For the first time, I learned that impatient is at the top of the list as far as the biodiversity of the plants are concerned. Yes. There's something very beautiful one. And not only that, but 50% of the aquatic flora exists in India. So this makes us, you see, increases our responsibility to possess this world heritage. It's a world heritage. And as far as the rice is concerned, you said about 50 to 60,000 species. The varieties of rice, they exist. This reminds me of Dr. Richaria's work, who had, I think, if I mistake, something like 36,000 varieties of rice he had collected. Yes. The full collection, it had been conserved by ERI also in the Philippines. So this is something very interesting work which you have been taking up, and then you conveyed it to all of us. So I thank you, and I also thank Dr. Skand Mishra for giving us an opportunity to listen to you and learn about so many things, new things about the biodiversity. And the 30% of the endemic species of the world, they are in India, and so the number is stood 4,381 endemic hectares. It was very surprising to learn about all this, such a good thing about Indian biodiversity. Sir, on behalf of all the audience and the Dr. Skand Mishra, I thank you very much for enlightening us on this topic. Thank you.
Yeah. With my colleagues, Dr. Ansari, actually I am from the product of our BSI, in fact.
Yes, right.
And my colleague Ravi Shankar and Shikawar is here. Yeah, good to see all of Vinapani is there. It's very nice to see all of them.
It was really very nice to hear, and you have covered very broad all the aspects, almost all the aspects. So it is your 4 decades experience. I think that you started with this work endemic plants. I think excellent work you have done. How many are endemics in impatience?
Impatience actually almost 85% are endemics.
I think
Because
100 tons.
globally 800 species are so far reported. Out of that, Indian subcontinent having around 236.
236.
So the interesting is, even though in India having more than 236, there is no common species between Himalayas and South India, except impatient chinensis. So that means we conclude that the impatience of South India, Southern India, as well as Himalayan is having two independent track for development. Actually, there is no common species between Himalayas and South India.
I remember while reading chapters on botany by Berkel, Hooker, Sir J.D. Hooker was last working on impatience in his last stage of life.
Yes, yes.
So,
96th year he was working.
I remember he asked Hutchinson to bring the bundle of impatience for study. That is what an interesting point I'm adding. So I think
there is an interesting about impatience. I want to share the audience. Actually, in Kew Garden, Hooker was working on impatience at the age of 96. And Hutchinson was appointed to him to help him at the age of 19 to bring impatience from the folder, from the herbarium to him, and then taking back to back. So thinking this young man, he needs, the grand old man needs his support. He was entering into this room, and Hooker, because of his old age and he is working with the genus impatiens, he lost his patience. And he issued a memo to him, mind your business, don't disturb me. And later on, when Hutchinson proposed a new classification, he made entirely upside down of the Hooker classification. And he wrote in the prologue, the grand old man never thought his own student one day will upside his own classification, like that. It is history. It is entered in the prologue of Hutchinson book, actually.
Nice to hear this.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Jagannath Adigari is here. Yeah. Very nice. Botanically rich area, and we look forward his lecture also.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Panduranga. Nice talk in this webinar series, inaugural session. And Professor Meenu Pravia sir chaired the session. साथ में आप लोगों ने सर हमारे जो ये प्रोसीडिंग बुक का जो रिलीज के मौके आपके द्वारा हुआ, तो आप सभी को चेयरपर्सन, इमिनेंट स्पीकर, को चेयरपर्सन, सभी जो गेस्ट हैं, उन सभी का मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूं महाविद्यालय की ओर से। और साथ ही डॉक्टर मीनू प्राविया सर जो कि अभी भी काफ़ी एक्टिव हैं, हमारे फर्स्ट सेमिनार कॉन्फ्रेंस में वो रीवा आए थे और उन्होंने इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में, इस वेबिनार में भी हमें अपना पर्याप्त समय दिया। हम आभार व्यक्त करते हैं सभी के प्रति। थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू सर।
Thank you, Dr. Mishra.
Thank you.
Now,
most welcome.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for all of the.
Now, second session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our chairperson, Professor Dr. Anil Chhangani, DSc, Professor and Head Environmental Science Department, Maharaja Ganga Singh University, Bikaner, Rajasthan. Co-chairperson Dr. RLS Sikarwar, Professor Environmental Science, A.P.S. University, Satna, and our eminent speaker, Professor Vidyanath Jha, retired Professor of Botany, Government CM Science College, Darbhanga, Bihar. Welcome all of you, sir. And I am request to Professor Anil Chhangani, sir, please preside the session, and Dr. Sikarwar, please co-chair the session and introduce eminent speaker, Professor Vidyanath Jha. Welcome, sir. Jha sahab.
Yes.
Dr. Chhangani, sir. Dr. Anil Chhangani, sir. Professor Anil Chhangani, sir. जस्ट अभी वो थे, अभी जस्ट ज्वाइन कर लिए हैं, बात करता हूँ।
Hello, am I audible?
वेलकम सर। हेमारी सर,
I need help.
हाँ, विद्यानाथ झा सर आ चुके हैं, आप इंट्रोडक्शन सर।
Okay, I'm just receiving a call. I'm declining that. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sir, thank you so much. I'm thankful to Government MS Golvalkar College, Rewa, and special thank to Professor Misra ji for giving us this opportunity to share our experience and listen of the speakers. So, this session, the keynote speaker or eminent speaker is Professor Vedanath Ji Jha, and the title of his talk is Role of Biodiversity in Shaping Culture, a case study of Mithila region in India. And I'm also welcoming my co-chairperson, Dr. R.L.S. Sadashivrao, Professor Environment Science, A.P.S. University, Patna. And as I instructed to introduce Professor Vedanath Jha, Professor Vedanath Jha completed his PhD from Ranchi University in 1988. He has been retired professor and principal of MLS M College, Darbhanga, ML Mithili University, Darbhanga. And he awarded so many awards by national bodies and international bodies. I'm taking the name of few. He awarded National Merit Scholarship right from his matriculation. And after that, CSIR, LNMU, and then LNMU awarded him some of the projects and he served. He published two books. One is on Makhana, second is on Vigyan, Paryavaran और समाज, और तीसरी जो किताब थी वो मखाना और मत्स्य पालन, इनके ऊपर थी उनकी। इसके अलावा प्रोफेसर झा ने कई इंसा के साथ में, डीएसटी के साथ में रिसर्च और यूजीसी के साथ में रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट भी किए हैं। He was a visiting fellowship also, awarded visiting fellowship and associate in INSA, UGC and CSIR. Professor Makhana received so many awards. To name a few, he received Professor P. San Sharma Medal. He also received World Environment Leadership Award, and recently he awarded as member of editorial board in reputed journals. He also owns a membership of Indian Botanical Society, Society of Life Science, International Society of Tropical Ecology, Association of Advancement and Biodiversity Research. He also is that. He awarded DLIC for specialization in science education. It's an honorary cause by United Nations, Nations of the Global Peace, USA. So, without wasting much of the time, I just welcome Dr. Vedanath Jha. And the title of his talk is Role of Biodiversity in Shaping Culture, a case study of Mithila region in India. Welcome, sir. Please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am highly thankful, obliged to the college at Rewa and Dr. Skand Mishra ji for providing me this opportunity. The topic of my presentation is Role of Biodiversity in Shaping Culture, a case study of Mithila region in India. Now, Mithila region, that is North Bihar, has been an ancient seat of learning and is rich in its cultural heritage. Vivid folk traditions witness an association of varied plant groups with major cultural events. The region is known for its ponds, orchards, and betel groves. Role of aquaphytes, mangoes, and betel in Mithila culture have been discussed The other categories comprise plants with reference to blissful conjugal life, arts and crafts, architecture, color preference for deities, and those associated with rituals and festivals. Next one. Just see, I start with our national plant or flower called lotus. Just see the scene that you are witnessing here is that of a makhana pond. Till last year, it was a makhana that was grown in this pond, but on account of certain factors, the fishing community that was associated with this makhana cultivation just gave up makhana cultivation, and it is the lotus that has sprung up because this was a government pond. For some reason, it was not settled, and this lotus has come up. Just see how this means that lotus is it has got a long dormancy, and just see once the opportunity is there, it has come up. Next one. Since time immemorial, man has regarded water as a manifestation of divine essence. North Bihar is rich in its wetland area. It witnesses a moderate rainfall of about 150 centimeter a year. Being saucer-shaped, it retains a sizable portion of the precipitation, and large area gets inundated and remains waterlogged even after the floods recede. The region is traversed by rivers like Kosi, Gandak, Bagmati, Kamla Balan, Lakhandei, and Kadeyadbara groups, and a number of tributaries. Besides these lentic bodies, the region abounds in pools and man-made ponds and leaches with religious sanction attached to them. The natural aquatic vegetation containing diverse group of water plants have found a place in its rituals, and these include the sacred lotus that I have shown you, Ural ferox, that is Bhet, Nymphaea nauchelai, Kodhila, that is Eschinomyn, etc. Next one. Just see. I want to come direct straightway to makhana, on which I have worked. Next one. These are the pops. I think those who have not seen its plants, they generally mistake it as a product of lotus. But that is not there. This is a separate plant called Ural ferox. I will show you the plant. Next one. Just see. This is how the Ural ferox plant looks like. And Nelambo nucifera I have already shown to you. Just see how big leaves are there, leathery leaves are there. And these days, the fishing community, they leave sufficient open space either in the middle or on the outside to allow the cultivation of both types of fishes. In Makhana pond, it is generally the black fishes that thrive well on the detritus that is very rich, and it is now the new practice that the fish farmers are adopting. They are leaving open space, and this allows sufficient dissolved oxygen to be there, and this facilitates the cultivation or growing of the white fishes, Labio, Rohita, Rohu, Katla, Mrigal, etc. Next one. Just see, this is a channel, a river channel that has become dead, but just see, makhana has come up, leaves have come up, plants have come up. Next one. Just see, these days, because there is gradual diminution, there is lessening amount of rainfall through the years, and this has prompted the makhana farmers to just khet mein kheti, that it is being done in arable. The cultivation is being done in arable plots by just binding the water, graving the water. That's the case. Just you see. Yes, this is Singhara, another that is water caltrops, Trapa bispinosa. Earlier it was Quadrispinosa, but now it is Trapa latens variety bispinosa. Now this is also extensively grown. I think this Singhara has got a pan-Indian distribution, but makhana, so far as makhana is concerned, its cultivation is localized in our area, that is 8 to 10 districts of North Bihar, that is Mithila area. It has got its distribution throughout Himalaya, starting from the northwestern lakes of Kashmir up to the eastern lakes of Manipur. But in so far as the economic status of the crop is concerned, among the aquatic crops, it is Singhara, which is number 1, and next to it is Makhana. But in our area, it is Makhana, which is number 1, and then comes the position of this Singhara. Next one. Now just see, this is lotus flower, white lotus flower that is being sold at a shrine. Next one. Just see, this is Saruk, probably a species of underground portion of a species of nymphaea that is also sold. And when there is enough flood in that year, there is a lush growth of this underground vegetation, underground water plant. Next one. Just see. Now we have another plant called Chenoplectiella articulata. Earlier it was Cirpus articulatus, and it grows on its own wild. It is a wild weed, but farmers in this area, people in this area, they collect the infructescence, and from this another pop, minute pops, smallest pops known, that is taken out. It is sold under the name of Ramdana because it resembles Ramdana, but actually it is Kobi. In our area, it is called Kobi, and many people, they are associated with this business, poor people. Next one. Just see. Now we are coming to makhana again. Just see how this dish, that is kheer or kheer dessert, that is prepared in traditional style. Just see how it is being it has been prepared in our area traditionally. This is the practice. Next one. And we have a festival, marital festival called Kojagra. Kojagra as a festival is observed throughout the country, but in our area, makhana is an essential item on this occasion. And just see, people it is sent from the bride side to the groom side, and it is distributed in the entire village to the entire kith and kin and those who visit the place on that occasion. And recently, Ayurveda holds makhana to be prajasthapak. That is, it is a spermatogenic, and I have an occasion to get it tested, experimentally tested through animal experiments. Results are encouraging. So the idea that it is prajasthapak, as has been told in Ayurveda, that has been experimentally proved. The full paper has not come, it will come. Next one. Just see how popular it is. This is a marital place, wedding place, and just see how the father of the bride and others, they are there having garlands, makhana garlands, small makhana garlands to welcome the Bharatij. Now this has become popular. Even the wedding garlands of makhana, they are getting popular nowadays. Next one. We have this NRC, National Research Center of Makhana at Darbhanga, and at Purnia it is Bhola Paswan Shastri Agriculture College. That is another center, and two varieties also have been taken out. New varieties have been taken out. Swarna Baidehi and Sabaur Makhana 1, and I think recently GI tag has been granted to makhana under the name of Mithila Makhana. So these are the developments. And during COVID time, I think on account of its immuno-boosting properties, it came to limelight, and now it is being much sought after a commodity, more particularly during COVID times, when there was a vigorous search for immunomodulating or immuno-boosting items. Next one. Yes, Nelambur nucifera is native of Southeast Asia. It is a symbol of eternity, beauty, purity, and prosperity. It is revered in ancient literature. Lotus flower is favorite for worshipping Lord Vishnu, and offered by Vaishnavites to Bhagavan Ram. So these are the various historical records speak of land donation by kings for exclusive cultivation of lotus in certain parts of India, and tax exemption for its cultivation. Literary epigraphs inform the practice of decorating the houses with lotus flowers. And we have, till recent time, we had 1,000-petaled lotus in the Angrathari village of Madhubani district. But today, we do not have those 1,000-petal or 100-petal lotus in our area. Of course, it is there in South India, several places. There should be a drive to retain it and preserve it. Next one. Makhana is a specialty of Mithila, and North Bihar is the major makhana producing region in India. Yagya, it is an essential item on the occasion of Kojagra, solemnized on the occasion of full moon day of Ashwin. Makhana pops presented by the parents of the new bride are distributed to the kith and kin of the groom in his village. Makhana has been assigned a revered status by including it in Panchameva, that is the 5 auspicious dry fruits, and it is just unique. This is a water plant, but its fruits are, its seeds, pops are considered to be one of the Panchameva, that is dry fruits. So it is offered to Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, on the Deepavali night. At Krishna, during Krishnastami, Janmashtami also, the growers, they just have a tendency to send it to Mathura for the first bhog to Lord Krishna. In certain parts of India, the mourners pay tribute to the departed soul by showering makhana pop on the dead body while being led to the cremation grounds. It is an essential item on all the 12 days of Shraddha, that is last rites performed by one's son soon after his or her death. Next one. Leaves and fruits of bhet, that is Nymphaea nautilii, are utilized on the occasion of Chaut Chandra, festival solemnized for worshipping the rising moon on Bhadra Shukla Chaturthi. Kodhila, then we have a Scinomene species, is offered to deities in the shape of a crown prepared from its pith. It is used for preparing artistic and delicate decorations, and also the idols of goddesses Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, etc. during festivals. Crowns for brides and bridegrooms are and tajia by the Muslims during their Muharram festival are made up of this pith stalk and preparing par, that is headgear. In this area, in Mithila area, we wear par, in which I think Scinomene stalks are an essential item to be there. Next one. The wood of Scinomene has a extremely low specific gravity and shows a marked reduction in the number of vessels and fibers. The restricted distribution of fibers around certain vessels prevent them from collapsing, and the large-scale replacement of fibers by thin-walled fusiform wood cells is mainly responsible for making this the lightest wood known. Its structure makes an ideal material for traditional artwork where softness, lightness, and resiliency are required. Kodhila, in this area it is locally called as Kodhila or Shola in Bengal, can be easily cut, peeled, stretched, and bent owing to the presence of abundant fusiform wood cells. The air-filled cells account for the insulating property of the wood. In our area, the watchmakers or the watch menders, they keep it, they just disperse the parts of the watch and they reassemble it, and that is done on the wood of this Kodhila Scinomene. Next one. Water plants have got some ceremonial usage. Ashtadal Kamal, that is 8-red lotus, is a favorite of Maithil women to draw on the ground on Satyanarayan Puja, on the occasion of Satyanarayan and other pujas. An elderly lady ceremonially collects the first cut hairs, that is during Mundan, on lotus leaf in the front of her garment. Dona, that is bowls made of lotus leaves, are utilized by Shrotriya Brahmins to serve cooked vegetables during community feasts. Lotus leaves are also utilized on Mesh Sankranti Day in Vaishakh Shukla Paksh. Offerings to Shitala Mata, the goddess supposed to provide protection against smallpox, are made on purain leaves. The festival in Mithila is famous by the name of Jur Shital. Aquatic plants like Karmi Sag, Ipomia reptans, Motha, Cyperus corymbosus are also of significance in Mithila area. Karmi Sag, that is Ipomia just aquatica, undergoes a rapid vegetative propagation and is worshipped and eaten on the day of first ceremonial entry into a newly constructed house, that is on the occasion of Grih Pravesh Day. Obviously, wishing a prolific propagation of the family tree, the new couple have to sleep on the mat woven from the combs of Motha, that is Cypress species, on the first 4 days of marriage at the bride's place. They have to sleep again for 4 days on the Motha mat, locally called as Patia, at her husband's place, and the conclave made on bamboo sticks. I think the practice is now no more there, but earlier this was the practice. Next one. Fruits of Singhara, that is Trapa natans, variety by Spinosa, are offered on the occasion of Chaut Chandra. Dessert cooked with fried seeds of bhet, nocelai, and Nymphaea nocelai is offered as Naivedya on the occasion of Devothan Ekadashi. Water plants have their share in the folk art of Mithila also. Garlands of white makhana pops are offered to goddess Durga and other deities. The most common themes of the women's paintings in rural decorations are fertility and invocation of blessings for conjugal happiness, and these are beautifully depicted by the water lilies. Mithila or Madhubani paintings contain portraits of many such plants being offered to the deity. Next one. Just see. Now we are coming to betel. Betel also, पान मखान, ये है मिथिला की पहचान. तो यहाँ पर हम लोग इसकी भी चर्चा कर रहे हैं. तांबूल और पान, that is piper betel, is intimately associated with Mithila culture and is supposed to be not available even in the heavens. One cannot think of a socio-cultural event in Mithila without the involvement of pan. A brother must be offered betel by his sister on the occasion of Bhratri Dvitiya, solemnized 2 days after Deepavali, on the second instant of Kartik Shukla Paksha, the bright fortnight of Kartik. It is supposed to protect a woman from widowhood and her brother from unforeseen casualties. Betel is offered as Naibedya, small offering, in all forms of pujas. It is significant during a fortnight-long prayer observed by girls during Shravan in the first year of their marriage. The ceremony culminates as Madhu Shramani on the 15th day. The bride undergoes an ordeal of experiencing a burning sensation on her right knee through a hole made in the betel leaf. The scar serves a sign of her chastity. These are the practices. I am not going into the whether these practices should be continued or not, but these are the practices. Next one. Just see. Betel, how it is being prepared for consumption. Next one. Just see. This is betel orchard, and I would like to point out that here also a number of diversity practices are there. Next one. In our area, it is Lania coromandelica, and the living trees are being offered as support in the Bareja, that is the grove. Now, amongst Karnakayasthal, the brothers of the bride and groom designates exchange betel leaves on the occasion of Siddhant ceremony during final social sanction to the marriage negotiation. Pan is invariably associated with Chumaun, that is a process of bestowing blessings on one performing a ritual held on the occasion of important religious events like Mundan, Upnayan, Vibah, Duragman, and then her hand imprints on the groom's nuptial garment signify her first ceremonial entry, and elderly lady ceremonially wishes the welfare of the person concerned with curd, dhan, and dubi in front. Like betel vine, supari, Ereca catechu is always associated with it as pan supari and is widely used in Mithila rituals. No community feast or festival is complete without serving pan supari to the invitees. Next. Just then, I'm again coming to mango. Amr, that is Mangifera indica, is widely used in Mithila rituals. It grows abundantly in the countless orchards, and a number of varieties are available here. According to Aine Akbari, written by Abul Fazl, the Mughal Emperor Akbar got planted 1 lakh mango trees at a place near Darbhanga. Its green twigs have been included under the auspicious Panch Pallavas, that is 5 young twigs, along with Ashwatha, that is Ficus religiosa, Udumbara, that is Ficus glomerata, Plaksh, that is Ficus lacquer, and Nyagrod, that is Ficus bengalensis. Mango leaves are festooned across the doorways of a house on all auspicious occasions. The dry mango twigs are the sacred firewoods used for a home, a ritual of pouring libations into fire, along with Akon, Calotropis procera, Khadir, Acacia catechu, then Gular, Ficus glomerata, Chirchiri, Acaedanthus aspera, Palas, Vitia monosperma, and Shami, Acacia summa. And in our area, it is generally during last rites, that is cremation, that is done on the wood of Biju mango, non-grafted. So that is the practice here. Next one. Just see, this is a big mango tree here in this area. Next one. Just see, recently an exhibition was made in Deep village of Madhubani district, in which more than 200 mango varieties were on display. They are still maintaining it. Next one. Just see how the time, just see what both the mango and mahua trees, Racia latifolia, they are there, they are planted, and during marriage, I think both the trees are worshipped. Just see how it looks like. Both the trees, they are clinging one another at 3 places. This is a photograph from Mangrauni village near Madhubani headquarters, Madhubani district headquarters. Next one. During marital ritual, a symbolic marriage between mango and mahua precedes the actual marriage rites. The bride designate worships the 2 trees Mango represents Agni, the female character, and Mahua represents Soma, the male character. The groom performs the symbolic marriage between the two trees during his Upnayan, that is sacred thread ceremony, solemnized a few years earlier. The practice of marrying trees is observed in other parts of the country also. Next one. Mango is only tree offered as Utsar, that is a reverential gift to a Brahmin during Shraddha in memory of the departed soul. The use of mango during religious rites is confined only to the uncrossed Desi or Biju variety and not to the grafted Kalmi types. The former are considered as pure and latter the hybrids and hence are not utilized during these occasions. Mango wood in Mithila is preferred as funeral firewood, as I have already said. After the dead body is totally consigned into flames, 5 mango twigs are offered to the departed soul as a token of last respect by all the persons present in the cremation ground. Mango leaves are utilized to pour libations during pujas. Unripe mango fruits called tikula are offered along with jav, Hordeum vulgare, and an earthen pot full of water on the occasion of Mesh Sankranti in Chaitra. Ripe fruits are offered to forefathers in Ardra Parvan during Ashar. Next one. The region is known for a superb art form which developed indigenously in this area and is known to the outside world as Mithila or Madhubani painting. It is one of the foremost among the contemporary folk arts and is mostly localized in Darbhanga, Madhubani districts. More than 3 dozen plants used for making colors have been enumerated and along with symbolisms depicted in them. They represent fertility, that is Sanodon dactylon, Musa sapientum, happy and blissful conjugal life, Anthocephalus kadamb, name has been changed now, Mangifera indica, prosperity, that is Oryza sativa, enchantment and happy love life, Tunica granatum, reverence to deity is represented through Uriel ferox, goddess of wealth, Artocarpus heterophilus, forefathers, Alocasia indica, a serpent god, Egil marmelos, and Eliocarpus ganitrus, Lord Shiva, Escinomin aspera, Raja Salhesh, Lord Shiva and other deities. In addition, bamboo and lotus rings are the two most plant images symbolizing male and female characters, happy and blissful conjugal life and fertility. Next one. So these are the plants used in Mithila painting. Earlier, these plants, all the colors were derived from the plants, but now that thing is not there. Now this all synthetic colors are being used. Next one. Quite a number of names of villages and towns in Mithila, as elsewhere in the country also, owe their origin to plants. Names like Pipada, Pipadaha, Pipada Bajar, Pipadoli, Pipadahi are derived from people, that is Ficus religiosa, while Dumada, Dumadi, Dumaria are derived from Udumbar, Ficus glomerata. Names like Simada, Simadi, Simadaha, Simadoli, but Simmad owe their origin to Simal or Shalmali, Salmelia malabaricum, its name has also been changed, which abound in this area. We have a famous place called Simaria where we go for Ganga Snan, and that name is also based on this Simal tree. The word Parkati, that is Ficus lacquer, has given rise to names like Pakur, Pakadi, Pakuria, etc. While names like Kamalpur, Kamalbari, Kamalda, etc. are derived from Kamal, that is Nelumbo nucifera. Numerous other village names referring to their plant-based origin include Darima, that is from Darim, Tunica granatum, Gamharia from Gamhar, Melina arborea, Kerwar from Kera, Musia sapientum, Kathwar from Kath, Acacia catechu, then Sakhwar from Sakhu, that is Shoria robusta, then Belahi, that is from Bel, Egil marmelos, Tisiahi from Tisi, Linum usitatissimum, Tardiha from Tar, Borassus flavellifer, Katharbari from Kathal, Artocarpus heterophilus, Basbaria and Basauli from Bans, Bambusa arundinacea, then Barhara from Barhar, Artocarpus lacucha, Tulsiahi from Tulsi, Osmum sanctum, Kapsia from Kapas, Gossypium species, etc. So a number of village names, they are based on the plants that were there earlier in abundance at that place. Next one. Plants in architecture. Plants provide splendor and serenity to human abode. This was very much appreciated by our forefathers, and modern architecture also accepts it. Plantations of Butterbricks, that is Ficus bengalensis, Ashwatha, Pakari, then Udumbar are selectively preferred in east, west, north, and south directions respectively. They are supposed to be inauspicious in opposite directions. Alocasia indica, the giant taro, locally known as man or mana, is always preferred in front of a house. It is a symbol of austerity. Contrary to it, banana plantation is discouraged in front. An ancient treatise on properties and classification of plants, Brihat Samhita, Vriksha Brihat Samhita, refers to selective sites for plantation of respective trees. Plants like Punnag, that is Calophyllum indicum, Ashoka, Saraka Ashoka, and then Arist, that is Saraka Ashoka, then Azadiracta heterophilus, then Shami, Acacia summa, and Sal, Solia robusta. Trees are preferred by the side of the house. Thorny and fruit-yielding plants are not preferred in the vicinity of the house. So is the case with latex-yielding plants, which are generally intoxicating and poisonous. The Canarium and Theracia, etc., they come under this category. Next one. Plants in architecture. It is customary to plant sacred plants, Ficus religiosa, Butea monosperma, Mangifera indica, Egil marmelos, Ficus bengalensis, Emblica officinalis, etc., at Samadhi, that is cremation sites of departed souls. Dead bodies are kept on earth near Tulsi Chowra, that is podia containing sacred basil plants, before funeral procession starts. Next one. Plants and blissful conjugal life. Women make all sorts of prayers for their long and happy conjugal life. Ficus bengalensis is ceremonially worshipped by married women on the occasion of Jest Amavasya. Then seed sprouts of Cicer eritinum, Fasciolus aureus, and fruits of mango, banana, bear, etc., lychee are offered. Then getting a good life partner is a matter of prime concern for the unmarried girls. Virgin girls in Mithila observe Hariso and Tushari Brat Puja for a month, each during Kartik and Paush Magh respectively. They offer grass, then dhan in Hariso Puja, and Belpat in Tushari Puja. They also offer Sandhya Puja daily during evenings for 1 full year in the first year of their marriage, starting with Makar Sankranti day. In this puja also, Bel Patra is offered to Lord Shiva as Naivedya offering on this occasion. Next one. In every village, newly married girls move in groups in the afternoon for the whole fortnight, starting with Mana Panchami day, that is 5th instant of the dark fortnight of Shravan, and collect a variety of green leaves which are offered the next day during the Panchami Puja. They include Calotropis porosera, Musa sapientum, Theracia nerifolia, Citrus lemon, Sidium guajaba, Saraka ashoka, Anthocypelus kadam, Bambusa arundinacea, Alocasia indica, Lawsonia inermis, Carthemus tinctorius, etc. Fragrant flowers like Kund, Jasminum hirsutum, Jasminum auriculatum, Tagetus erecta, Plumeria rubra, Michaelia champaka, etc., are also utilized on the body parts by pasting its extracts. This practice is prevalent in several other parts of the country. Applying vermilion, that is sindoor dan, over the forehead of the bride by the groom is essential during marital ritual. The groom does it with the fibers of son, that is Corchorus species, in his hand. Dye extracted from seeds of Bixa orellana are used as vermilion on this occasion. Next one. It is customary to offer a gift of paddy, jeer, that is Cuminum cyminum, then Cynodon dactylum, and Acacia catechu, to a married lady at the time of her departure from parental house. These are carried by her on her person as khochi, tied on the part of her garment. This practice is also repeated when she temporarily leaves her husband's house for her parental house. This refers to the role of woman as Annapurna, a prospective feeder of the whole clan, keeping poverty at bay. Women in Mithila worship Sama Chakeba for about 9 continuous nights, starting with the Chhat festival, solemnized during Kartik Shukla Paksha, the bright fortnight of Kartik. The symbolic body of the villain of this episode is made of the jute sticks, Corchorus olitorius, and is burnt on the final night as punishment for his nefarious acts of ruining others' conjugal lives. Plants of cultural importance often find a basis in their easy availability in the adjacent environs, followed by their inclusion into ritualistic practices. Sacred propositions are affirmed in rituals, and the nature of such affirmation has both epistemological and evolutionary significance. Next one. Rituals in Mithila start with Chatihar. I think I will just take the names only. Gingiva officinale, Bambusa arundinacea during the birth of a child. Then during Mundan, the cut hair is immersed in the bamboo orchard, supposedly desiring a bamboo-like rapid propagation of the family tree. Then during sacred thread, during home, the plants like Mangifera indica, Butea monosperma, Calotropis procera, Acacia catechu, Acacia Acaranthus aspera, Piper longum, and then Ficus glomerata, then Acacia summa, then Erianthus munja, and made of bamboo, bambusara, and megadumber. And these are used. These are the plants that are there very much in the rituals in this region. Next one. Yes, no Hindu rites could be initiated without till, that is Sesamum indicum, and Kush, that is Desmostachia bipinnata. One has to administer oneself an oath with till and Kush in hand. Kush is uprooted ceremonially on the occasion of Kushotpatni Amavasya, no moon day of Indian calendar month of Bhadra, and is preserved all the year round for various types of rites. Tekusha, Mohra, Aunti, Aunti, then Bistar, then Birani, then Sapavitra, Paita, Chindamul, etc. and Brahma are the different forms made of Kush, sized on the occasion of worshipping deities and forefathers. Bistar is significant during marital ritual, while Chindamul is more significant in rituals related with worshipping forefathers. Brahma is used for pouring libations into the fire while performing a homa. It is preferable to perform a ritual while one is seated on a Kush mat. It is believed that till and Kush are supposed to protect grains and other eatables from getting impure during eclipses. The last rites of a person traceless for 12 continuous years is performed by burning his symbolic body made of Kusha. Mehra gave an account of Shisem in India and its ritual significance. Till must be offered to poor Brahmins just along with uncooked rice, pulse and vegetable on the Makar Sankranti day, which is more popular in Mithila by the name of Tila Sankranti. Next one. And I think these are the various plants again. Then these represent the 9 goddesses. Navadurga presiding over the individual plants. Aparajita flowers, Clitoria turnacea. Flowers have a special significance on the last Vijayadashmi day and are supposed to provide victory to one who worships it in all spheres of life. Fruits of Kushmanda, that is Benencasa hispida, are offered to the goddess by cutting them into 2 pieces. Persons averse to violence prefer this form of symbolic Bali Pradhan, that is symbolic animal sacrifice. Just next one. During Deepavali, rhizomes of Curcuma domestica, Curcuma jedoaria, and Nardo stachys jatamasi, dried roots of Nagarmotha, Cyprus corymbosus, and Khas, that is Katara Jhar or Ushir in this area, Vetiveria genuidis, its name has also been changed. Fruits of Dhania, that is Coriandrum sativum, seeds of Lemonicifera are worshipped. Jute sticks are also utilized to make symbolic Ulka, the emissary of death and misfortune, which is burnt on Deepavali night and is supposed to drive the evil spirits away. Then flower of Benencasa hispida and Cucurbita maxima are associated with Bhratri Dutiya. On the 2nd instant of bright fortnight of Kartik, a sister puts these flowers thrice on the hand of her brother along with pansupari, honey, pithar, that is solution of finely crushed rice, harir, fruits of Terminalia chebula, etc., and wishes him welfare. Next one. Then I would like to rush through a number of other plants are there. I think next one. Chalo.
Please conclude, sir.
Yes, I am concluding. I would like to show some plants. Just see. This is just see. We are here today in the month of Shravan, and I think the newly married girls they worship the Nag Devata, and I think just see the Theresia and Lyrium. These leaves are there. They are associated with the production of secondary metabolites that are very much helpful in snake bites. Next one. Just see. This is the photograph from Baidyanath Dham. Just see how the cornflowers. Then yes, just see how then flowers of just Nymphia species in place of the lotus. These are used. This is the practice there. This diversity is there. Next one. Just see how just go ahead. Yes, one thing that I would like to stress upon is that recently the government of Bihar has issued a notice that the government wants to get the rohu fish, that is Labio Rohita, the tag, the GI tagging. I think the original Mithila Rohu and just steps have been initiated and information have been asked from the general public and scientists to provide the details of association of this Mithila Rohu. And I think this is also a diversity that has been there since ancient times in this area. Labio Rohita as such is found in other parts of the country and elsewhere also, but the Labio Rohita that is found in Mithila area, that has been found for I think generations, that is being searched, and I think detailed analysis of its genetic material would be done, and government wants that it should be established under the GI scheme. Next one. Yes, just see, this is a temple, and here we have this Rohu fish on both the sides. Next one. Just see, Lakshmishwar Singh, who was a great supporter of Indian national movement, he also just see the fish, Rohu fish as the emblem. Next one. So just see, there is a practice of planting gular tree alongside the bamboo. So this is a practice, and I think gular also, like of global. Next one. Just
Professor Jha, I request you, yes, please conclude in a minute.
Yes, I am concluding. Just see, next one. Just see, this is vetiver, how the artifacts are made. These are the vetivers, grow in abundance in our area, in floodplains. Just see. Go ahead. Now this is just see, we have a practice of cluster plantation. Just you see, the Ficus religiosa and Ficus bengalensis, both the trees are being grown together. Such a type of situation you will find in abundance in our area. Plus more than, just see, and just go ahead. Just go ahead. Yes, this is moringa. Next one. Just see, cluster plantation you find here in a sacred place. Next one. Just see. Escinomine, the items made of escinomine, they are offered in temples to the deity. Next one. Just see. So with this, I would like to thank you. These are the 5 Pallavas, I think, of different plants, mostly belonging to the Moraceae, which are considered to be keystone species, and have ecological significance. So with this, I would like to conclude. Thank you for providing the opportunity.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation, and I think that's very important. What are the traditional practices of preserving our biodiversity that we need to understand? And Professor Jha has been very intensely and detailed sharing about Makhana itself. So I don't know. I just have some queries, sir. Is there any patent procedure for preserving them, or is there any scientists working in this issue they are doing or not? Secondly, biodiversity is the key factor which gives a support to all of us during unexpected COVID-19. We must understand the value of local biodiversity, how importantly they are supporting us. They maintaining our immunity, they maintain our nutrient capacity, and they give us a survival. Many of the people, many of our relatives who are not access to the local spices, local food, they are not access to that immunity. They cannot fulfill their nutrient power. So they have sacrificed their life. So it is very important to preserve biodiversity locally. And you may also add how these plants have been managed by the community. Within the community lands, around the sacred grove, around the temple, around the holy places. So very nice presentation. Thank you so much. And now I would like to request my fellow co-chairperson, Professor RLS.
Should I respond to your queries first? Should I respond to your queries first? In our area, we have NRC for Makhana, National Research Center for Makhana, based at Darbhanga. And I think during COVID time, it came to limelight. Recently, GI tag has also been provided to it under the name of Mithila Makhana. So it is called as nutraceutical. It is held as nutraceutical, just like soybean. And I think researches are going on all its aspects. And so far as the other observation is concerned, yes, there is too much of population pressure in this area, but even then, I think every village has got Brahmasthan. where a people tree is there. And we have a series of this cluster plantation. Even in Darbhanga town, I can have a number of 4 dozen or 5 dozen spaces where the plants are grown under a cluster. So this practice is there in our area.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Now, yes, again, Dr. RLS Sikarwar.
Dr. RLS Sikarwar, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Please share your view and comments.
Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you, Dr. Jha, for delivering a very excellent lecture. I know Dr. Jha last more than 30 years because we are close associated to each other, and I know his capability, ability, and wisdom on the Mithila culture. He has published several books and several 100 research papers on Mithila ethnobotany and biodiversity. So, first of all, I want to congratulate Dr. Jha Sahab for your wonderful lecture.
Thank you.
There will be no exaggeration if I will call you the Makhana man of Bihar, because I know you have done a lot of work on Makhana. So, thank you very much. You have already discussed a lot of things which is not possible to collect all the information in a few sentences. So, you have already mentioned about Makhana, Sola, Neelambu nucifera, Ashtadal, Trapa, Piper beetle, Areca, mango, ficus, so many plants species associated with the culture of Mithila, wedding, garlands, ceremonies, birth, festivals, all aspects you have covered in your lecture. So I once again congratulate you because I have to go just now. I'm receiving phone call for conducting PhD Viva. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody
for giving me this opportunity. Thank you हमारे चेयरमैन साहब अनिल कुमार जी. नमस्कार, आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आपसे फिर कभी मुलाकात करेंगे. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
धन्यवाद डॉक्टर झा साहब, बहुत बढ़िया प्रेजेंटेशन रहा मिथिला कल्चर पर, और काफ़ी आपका अनुभव जो है यहाँ पर हमारे ऑडियंस को एक्सपीरियंस मिले हैं और बहुत सी जानकारी आपने शेयर की है. सत्र के चेयरपर्सन प्रोफेसर अनिल छंगानी सर जो बीकानेर से हैं, और प्रोफेसर RS सिकरवार साहब जो A.P.S यूनिवर्सिटी सतना से हैं, सभी का हम आभार व्यक्त करते हैं इस सत्र के लिए. धन्यवाद. नेक्स्ट IFS, former ADG, Project Tiger, Government of India, Co-Chairperson Dr. Ratan Srivastava, Professor Environmental Biology, Government Science College, Jabalpur, and our eminent speaker, Mr. Rajneesh Kumar Singh, IFS, Deputy Director, Pench Tiger Reserve, मध्य प्रदेश. सभी का स्वागत है सर, और मैं डॉक्टर अनूप नायक सर से निवेदन करूंगा कि वो सत्र के चेयरपर्सन और डॉक्टर रतन श्रीवास्तव को चेयरपर्सन के रूप में स्वागत है. और डॉक्टर अनूप नायक सर, प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस आवर इमिनेंट स्पीकर Mr. Rajneesh Kumar Singh sir. Welcome.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to this international seminar on biodiversity conservation and sustainable development. Congratulations, Professor Misra, for having organized this kind of international seminar in a row. I mean, we've been organizing this kind of seminar for the last 3-4 years, been associated with. Thank you very much, Professor Mishra, and welcome you all to this interesting session. The interesting session is about the is about wildlife heritage of Madhya Pradesh. So I like to have our session of 40 minutes go like this. So I will introduce the eminent speaker, Singh ji. Then after that, he will make a presentation. And then after, I will request him to restrict his presentation to 35 minutes maximum. Then after that, the house will be open to questions, question answer for 5 minutes, and then the comments by our co-chairman, and then final comments by me. So within 5 minutes, we'll wind up. So, ladies and gentlemen, this particular session is going to be addressed by our Rajneesh Kumar Singh. He's such a known figure. He's such a wonderful person, and I know him personally for a long time. So, Sri Rajneesh Kumar Singh is currently posted as the Deputy Director of Pench Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh. There are another Pench Tiger Reserve in Maharashtra, but he is serving in Madhya Pradesh. And academically, he is a master's in statistics. He joined in the Forest Service in the year 1997. After undergoing 2 years of basic training at CASPOS, that is Central Academy for State Forest Services in Dehradun, he did his specialization in wildlife management from Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun. In fact, he has served in various capacities in different wildlife sectors in the central Indian landscape, including a stint in Pench, Satpura, Kalna Tiger Reserve, and Wildlife Headquarters in Madhya Pradesh. He is a passionate wildlifer, I can say, with conviction. His primary interest lies in awareness activities for wildlife conservation, and also supporting livelihood generation activities, so vital for conservation measures. So with this short introduction of Rajneesh Kumar Singh, I will now request him to address the gathering on the subject assigned to him. Over to Rajneesh ji.
Thank you very much, sir. And it is indeed a great honor for me to be getting introduced by someone like Anup Nayak sir, who is like, I was not that fortunate to work directly under him, but when sir was member secretary Project Tiger, we all were benefited with his involvement, and I had opportunity to meet sir a couple of times at Bhopal and various other meetings. And when I saw that sir will going to introduce and chair this session, so sir, I had goosebumps. Still I have goosebumps, and it's indeed a great honor for me. I'm such a young and junior as compared to you, less knowledgeable, but still I'm daring to speak in front of you. And also I can see the plethora of speakers. I can see Dr. Shiparna, again a known face, Dr. Mujumdar. Everybody is so deeply engrossed into their own domain, be it fish or tiger or whatever it is, different element of the biodiversity. But as a practitioner, as a manager, whenever I visit field, whenever I interact with the students, and so I find that even in Madhya Pradesh, there is not much awareness about the kind of diversity we have in our state. Or also I find that even leave alone the insects and butterflies and birds, when it comes to mammals, people find it difficult to distinguish between a wolf and jackal and a wild dog and all these animals. So my presentation is something very simple, very basic. There is no new knowledge involved. It is whatever already in public domain, but here my objective to do this presentation is to make the college student aware about the diversity which we have and the diversity which we all need to protect and conserve for the posterity. So with this, I'm starting my presentation. Also, here I would like to say that because in Madhya Pradesh, mostly we speak Hindi, and also the language even for the postgraduate courses is Hindi only, though the textbooks are in English. So I am preparing. I prepared this presentation in Hindi, and I'll speak Hindi and English mix both. just for the benefit of the student. Also here I would like to emphasize that this presentation is bit interactive. So जो भी स्टूडेंट है मैं कुछ क्वेश्चन भी पूछूंगा और यदि आप उसका आंसर सही देते हो तो मैं यहाँ से पेज से आपके लिए प्राइजेस भी भेजूंगा। प्रोफेसर मिश्रा आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि जो भी स्टूडेंट आंसर देते हैं प्लीज आप उनका नाम नोट करिएगा और मुझे इंटीमेट करिएगा सो दैट कि मैं उनके प्राइजेस आपके यहाँ रीवा भेज सकूं।
हाँ, यस सर, यस।
स्क्रीन दिख रही होगी आपको?
हाँ जी
जी। तो मध्य प्रदेश की हम जब वन्य प्राणी धरोहर की बात कहते हैं, मैंने पर्पसफुली जो फोटोग्राफ लगाया है अपनी स्क्रीन पे वो पेड़ों का और पक्षियों का लगाया है, क्योंकि एक तो वही बहुत बड़ा डिस्नॉर्मर है कि हम सोचते हैं कि वन्य प्राणी मतलब केवल हमारे मैमल्स होते हैं। वन्य प्राणियों की हम यदि डेफिनेशन पे जाएं तो वाइल्ड लाइफ एक्ट के शेड्यूल में जो भी एनिमल लिस्टेड हैं, जिनमें बर्ड्स भी आती हैं, इंसेक्ट्स भी आते हैं, तो एक तो हमारे स्टूडेंट को यही जानना बहुत जरूरी है कि वन्य प्राणी का मतलब केवल चौपाई मैमल्स नहीं है। हमारे दूसरे भी जो फॉनल एलिमेंट है जो खास करके हमारे शेड्यूल में है वाइल्ड लाइफ एक्ट के, वे सभी वन्य प्राणी हैं। और जब मैं वन्य प्राणी धरोहर की बात करूं तो मैं थोड़ा पीछे ले जाना चाहूंगा उस समय जब हमारे जो पूर्वज थे वो पत्थरों पे पेंटिंग्स करा करते थे, जिनको हम आजकल रॉक आर्ट कहते हैं, और वो हमारे पास्ट को जानने के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और यह भी जानना बहुत जरूरी है कि हमारे पास उस समय क्या धरोहर थी। तो ये प्राइस का क्वेश्चन तो नहीं है, पर आप इस रॉक पेंटिंग में क्या देख पा रहे हैं, कौन सा एनिमल देख पा रहे हैं, कोई बताएगा? कोई भी बोले, क्योंकि समय की भी सीमा है, बहुत ज्यादा देर वेट नहीं किया जा सकेगा।
शुगर है सर क्या?
सर शुगर नहीं है सर, ये राइनो है। आप इसका शायद आपकी स्क्रीन पे उतना साफ नहीं दिख रहा हो, पर ये वन हाउस
सर राइनो है भीमबेटका रॉक पेंटिंग शेल्टर में।
सर ये भीमबेटका का नहीं है, ये है चतुर्भुज नाला है गांधी सागर सेंचुरी में। तो
ओके सॉरी,
नाला में 5 किलोमीटर लंबी रॉक पेंटिंग दिखता है। आई थिंक एशिया की वो सबसे लंबी रॉक पेंटिंग साइट है लंबाई में। जस्ट इमेजिन करें 5 किलोमीटर तक लगातार रॉक पेंटिंग्स है और वहां पे गैंडा है। आज हम सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं कि मध्य प्रदेश में कभी गैंडा रहता होगा, लेकिन ये हमारी धरोहर का हिस्सा है। क्लाइमेटिक और तमाम दूसरे एंथ्रोपोजेनिक रीजन से हमने गैंडों की विरासत को खो दिया, शायद कुछ 1000 साल पहले खो दिया होगा, क्योंकि रिटन लिटरेचर में कहीं भी गैंडे का जिक्र मध्य प्रदेश में नहीं आता है। हालांकि मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि हाथियों का आता है, हाथियों का तो 200-250 साल पहले बल्क में आता है, पर गैंडे का नहीं आता है। तो ये तो हमारी एक धरोहर थी जो हम खो चुके हैं। अब पर इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि यदि हमने गैंडा खो दिया तो हम एक दिन टाइगर भी खो सकते हैं, यदि हम उस दिशा में प्रयास नहीं करें तो। कुछ और ये सिंबल्स हैं। एक्सट्रीम राइट में जो हाथी दिख रहा है वो चंदेरी के जहांगीर पैलेस का है और वराह है। ये जो बीच में अभी प्रोफेसर झा भी मछली की बात कह रहे थे, ये महाशीर मछली है, डॉक्टर श्रीपर्णा है यहाँ पे। तो ये सारी चीजें हमारे आर्ट में, हमारे टेम्पल्स में, हमारे चीजों जो हमारे जीवन के आसपास की चीजें थी उनमें हमने सिंबलाइज करा था। हमने इसीलिए इसको सिंबलाइज करा था कि हम उन्हें धरोहर मानते थे, हम उन्हें प्रेशियस मानते थे। अब महाशीर मछली बहुत कठिन समय से गुजर रही है, लेकिन डॉक्टर श्रीपर्णा और उनकी टीम पिछले लगभग 1 दशक या उससे भी ज्यादा से कार्य कर रही है। आपको इसके बारे में और डिटेल पता चलेगा। पर यहाँ जो मैं जहांगीर महल के इस हाथी का जिक्र करना चाहूंगा, यदि आप मुगल काल का लिटरेचर पढ़ेंगे तो वो जो बेस्ट हाथी था वो उज्जैन के पास और दोहत के आसपास से उन लोग पकड़ते थे अपनी आर्मी के लिए। क्या आज हम सोच भी सकते हैं कि उज्जैन में कभी हाथी रहते होंगे? उज्जैन के जंगलों में नहीं रहते हैं। बट दिस इज व्हाट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड। ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि हमने जिसको कहते हैं सावधानी हटी दुर्घटना घटी। कई दशकों तक हमारे लोगों ने ध्यान नहीं दिया। आज देखिए हाथी उस जगह से पूरा चले गए और उज्जैन मध्य प्रदेश के उन जिलों में है, या रादर सबसे कम वन क्षेत्र का जिला है। हमारे जो आदिम समुदाय थे, जो स्थानीय समुदाय थे, उन्होंने भी इन धरोहरों को सहेजने की शुरुआत करी थी। और उनकी पेंटिंग्स में, जैसे यहाँ पे एक गोंड स्टाइल पेंटिंग है जिसमें आपको पक्षी दिख रहे हैं, उनका घोंसला दिख रहा है, और दूसरा नीचे मैमल्स भी दिख रहे हैं। तो इस तरह से वो जिसको आप प्यार करते हो ना उसी की चीजें बनाते हो। तो वो वन्य प्राणियों को प्यार करते थे या प्यार करते हैं, इसीलिए उनका अंकन करते हैं। दो और एग्जाम्पल है, ये आप ही के क्षेत्र से है। राइट में नागौद स्टेट का कोट ऑफ आर्म है और लेफ्ट में हमारी रीवा रियासत का कोट ऑफ आर्म है, राज चिन्ह जिसे कहते हैं। तो आप देखिए कि रीवा तो हमेशा से फेमस रहा टाइगर के लिए, और वहां के राजाओं ने भी टाइगर को अपने दिल के करीब रखा, अपने राज्य चिन्ह का हिस्सा बनाया। और इंटरेस्टिंग है जानना कि नागौद के राजाओं ने भालू को, मैं जिस एनिमल को यदि सही आइडेंटिफाई कर पा रहा हूं तो ये भालू है, तो उन्होंने स्लॉथ बियर को अपने राज्य चिन्ह के रूप में रखा। तो ये जो छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, हमने अपने धरोहरों को इस तरह से अलग अलग तरह से प्रदर्शित करते रहे थे। ये एक आदिवासी घर है जिसमें तमाम पेंटिंगें हैं। आप पूरे मध्य प्रदेश या पूरे सेंट्रल इंडिया में जाएंगे तो इस तरह के घर और इस तरह के घरों में के बाहर बने वन्य प्राणियों के चित्र बहुत आसानी से आपको दिखेंगे। सहेजने की शुरुआत तो राजा महाराजाओं ने ही करी थी, और हालांकि उनका जो उद्देश्य था वो कोई बहुत अच्छा उद्देश्य नहीं था। कंजर्वेशन जो शब्द है वो बहुत रिलेटिवली नया शब्द है। राजा तो अपने शिकार के लिए ही जगह सहेजना चाहते थे और इसीलिए वन्य प्राणियों को वो सहेजते थे, या फिर उन्हें, जैसा ये पेंटिंग दिख रही है मुगल पीरियड की है, जिसमें हाथियों को वो पकड़ते थे ताकि वो अपने आर्मी में उनको काम ले सके। लेकिन यदि आपको कोई चीज चाहिए तो आपको उसको सहेजना पड़ेगा। इसी उद्देश्य के साथ में वन्य प्राणियों को सहेजने की शुरुआत हुई। बहुत पहले से हो चुकी थी। आपको मालूम है अशोका के रॉक एडिक्ट में भी जिक्र है कि केवल एक ही चीतल मारा जाए हफ्ते में, इस तरह की बात कुछ लिखी हुई है। तो कहीं ना कहीं कंजर्वेशन की सोच राजा महाराजाओं के समय से ही आ चुकी थी। और फिर जब अंग्रेज आए तो आपको मालूम है कि अंग्रेजों ने एक शब्द का लाए हमारे यहाँ गेम हम खेल के रूप में लेते हैं, पर ब्रिटिश काल में गेम का मतलब होता था शिकार करना। और ब्रिटिश इंडियन रॉयल्टीज के साथ में जाया करते थे, शिकार करते थे, और उन्होंने हंटिंग ब्लॉक बनाए हुए थे। जंगलों को वो 10 हिस्सों में बांट देते थे या 4 हिस्सों में बांट देते थे, और हर साल किसी एक हिस्से में ही शिकार अलाउड होता था ताकि बाकी हिस्सों में जो वन्य प्राणी है वो बच्चा पैदा कर सके, संख्या बढ़ा सके और एक हिस्से में कर सके। तो इस तरह से उन्होंने फिर उन्हीं हंटिंग ब्लॉक्स में से जो कुछ को अभ्यारण्य डिक्लेयर करना शुरू कर दिया। उसके पीछे भी ये सोच थी कि अभ्यारण्य में हम कभी शिकार नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन अभ्यारण्य के चारों तरफ हंटिंग ब्लॉक्स होंगी या शिकारगाह होगी, तो अभ्यारण्य में पॉपुलेशन ग्रो करेगी और बाहर जाएगी तो हम शिकार कर लेंगे, लेकिन अभ्यारण्य सुरक्षित रहेंगे। 1933 में कान्हा पहला अभ्यारण्य बना। यह इंपॉर्टेंट ये है, ये दोनों टर्मिनोलॉजी प्रिजर्वेशन और कंजर्वेशन। आप ये देखिए जो ब्रिटिश टाइम की बात है और राजाओं की बात है, वो प्रिजर्वेशन था एक तरह से। जैसे हम अचार को प्रिजर्व करते हैं, खाने के लिए करते हैं, कोई बहुत भारी उद्देश्य नहीं होता है। लेकिन जब हम संरक्षण की बात करते हैं या कंजर्वेशन की बात करते हैं तो वहां कंजम्पटिव उद्देश्य नहीं होता है। हालांकि इनडायरेक्ट बेनिफिट उससे भी जुड़े हुए हैं। हम जानते हैं कि इकोसिस्टम सर्विसेज होती है कंजर्वेशन के बाय प्रोडक्ट के रूप में, लेकिन कोई बहुत तुच्छ सा गोल नहीं होता है कि आज हम टाइगर बचाएं और कल इसको मार के इसका चमड़ा बेच लें। तो ये जो सोच है संरक्षण की सोच, ये 20वीं शताब्दी के बाद में आना शुरू हुई, और 20वीं शताब्दी की शुरुआत में भारत के परिप्रेक्ष्य में यदि बात करें तो प्री इंडिपेंडेंस फेज में तो ये डेफिनेटली नहीं थी। और फिर वाइल्ड लाइफ एक्ट आया 1972 में, और उसमें कहा गया कि देश की पारिस्थितिकी एवं पर्यावरणीय सुरक्षा, मतलब इकोलॉजिकल और एनवायरमेंटल सिक्योरिटी, ये जो मैंने बात कही एक लार्जर गोल की बात हुई और एक निजी लाभ की बात नहीं थी। इस उद्देश्य से वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट आया। तो अब हम इतनी सारी प्रयास किसको बचाने के लिए कर रहे हैं, तो मैं एक झलक दिखाना चाहूंगा। हमारे मध्य प्रदेश में मांसाहारी प्रजाति के कौन कौन से प्राणी हैं। ये बाघ है, ये तो आप सभी जानते हैं। अब मैं थोड़ा सा फास्ट बोलूंगा क्योंकि मैं देख रहा हूं आधा समय हो चुका है, तो आई नीड टू बी फास्ट। ये कौन सा वन्य प्राणी है, कोई बताएगा क्या? कोई नहीं? तो ये तेंदुआ है। हमारे प्रदेश में काफी बड़ी संख्या में पाया जाता है। 2018 का जो एस्टिमेशन था उसमें लगभग 3200 तेंदुए थे हमारे प्रदेश में, और अभी जो 2022 की गणना का रिपोर्ट 23 में आना है उसमें तेंदुओं की संख्या भी डिक्लेयर नहीं करी है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने, बट आएगी तो डेफिनेटली बहुत बढ़ के आएगी। जैसा आपको मालूम है टाइगर हमारे पास में 526 का आकलन था 2018 में, और अब जो एस्टिमेट है वो 785 का है। तो एक बहुत ही लीप एंड बाउंस में ये ग्रोथ हुई है। ये क्वेश्चन प्राइस का क्वेश्चन है डॉक्टर अस्कन मिश्रा। तो ये 3 स्किन के फोटोग्राफ दिख रहे हैं, और यदि कोई स्टूडेंट ये बता सके कि इसमें तेंदुए का स्किन कौन सा है तो उसके लिए एक प्राइज है। सेंटर वाला, एक्सट्रीम राइट और एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट। चलिए, कोई यदि इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है बताने को तो मैं ही बता देता हूं। जो एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट में है वो चीता का है, जो सेंटर में है वो लेपर्ड का है, और राइट में है वो जगुआर का है। तीनों का यदि आप डिफरेंस देखें तो चीता के जो धब्बे होते हैं, यदि आपने स्याही वाले पेन से स्याही छिड़क दी तो जैसे धब्बे बन जाएंगे उस तरह के धब्बे होते हैं। लेकिन जो तेंदुए के धब्बे होते हैं उनमें बीच में आप देखेंगे डार्क ब्राउन कलर दिख रहा है, और धब्बे जुड़ के भी कोई पैटर्न बनाते हैं। कई बार वो सी आकार बना लेते हैं, पूरा सर्कल तो नहीं बनता है पर सी आकार बहुत बार बन जाता है, जो हमारे देश में मिलता ही नहीं है। उस जगुआर में धब्बों के अंदर भी धब्बे होते हैं, जबकि आप तेंदुआ का देखिए धब्बों के अंदर कोई धब्बे नहीं होते हैं। ये तेंदुए की स्किन है। और उसके अलावा हमारे यहाँ जंगली बिल्ली भी मिलती है, और ये जो बिल्ली है जो अभी दिख रही है, इसका भी नाम यदि कोई बता पाए तो एक इनाम है। चलिए, तो ये जो बिल्ली है ये दुनिया की सबसे छोटी बिल्ली है, जिसको रस्टी स्पॉटेड कैट कहते हैं। रस्ट का मतलब होता है जंग, तो इसका जो आप देखिए कलर है जो जंग के जैसा कलर होता है, लोहे में जैसा जंग लग जाता है। तो मध्य प्रदेश इस तरह से ब्लेस्ड है कि सबसे बड़ी बिल्ली बाघ और सबसे छोटी बिल्ली रस्टी स्पॉटेड कैट दोनों ही हमारे जंगलों में मिलती है। उसके अलावा हमारे यहाँ डॉग स्पीशीज के, कुत्ता प्रजाति के भी बहुत सारे जानवर मिलते हैं। मैं ये प्रश्न नहीं पूछ रहा हूं क्योंकि मुझे लग रहा है आप लोग बताने में बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है, पर ये क्विज जो पूरा प्रेजेंटेशन मैंने क्विज फॉर्मेट में ही बनाया है, तो पहले फोटोग्राफ आएगा, मैं पूछूंगा और फिर आप उत्तर देंगे और फिर इसका नाम आएगा। बट ये वुल्फ है, ये भेड़िया है, हमारे प्रदेश में काफी मिला करता था, लेकिन भेड़िए जिन जगहों पे रहते हैं उन्हीं जगहों पे इंसान खेती करता है और इंसान, तो हालांकि मध्य प्रदेश वुल्फ स्टेट भी है। वुल्फ की संख्या पूरे भारत में बात करें तो 2018 के एस्टिमेशन में संख्या 1000 के लगभग ही, 1000 से भी कम है, तो कोई बहुत अच्छी स्थिति नहीं है इनकी। और
Sir, your mic is off.
Mic is off. Your mic is off. Muted. रजनीश।
यस सर।
जी
रजनीश सिंह सर।
जी।
माइक आप अभी माइक आपका जो है वो बंद था।
नहीं, मुझे नहीं मालूम कैसे बंद हुआ, क्योंकि मैं कुछ टच तो करा नहीं था, हो गया तो मुझे नहीं मालूम कब से बंद हो गया। दोबारा ऐसा होता है तो।
हाँ जी। ओके सर।
जी, तो मैं भेड़ियों की बात कह रहा था, और भेड़िए चूंकि वो खेती के आसपास भी इनका हैबिटेट होता है, और हम बहुत सारे खेतियों में पेस्टिसाइड और तमाम उस तरह की चीजें इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, और उसका नतीजा है कि इनकी पॉपुलेशन बहुत कम हो गई है। ये भी एक दूसरा जानवर है जिसकी संख्या बहुत तेजी से कम हो रही है हमारे यहाँ पे। लकड़बग्घा या हाइना कहते हैं, जो कि हम हमेशा से बचपन में पढ़ते थे कि ये सफाई कर्मी है, गंदगी हटा देता है, पर शायद हमने जब से तमाम तरह के ये जो मैकेनाइज्ड बूचरिंग प्लांट आए, और ये जो गाय और बैल जो मरते थे और हम उन्हें फेंक देते थे गांव के बाहर, अब वो मरने के पहले ही बूचरिंग प्लांट में जाना शुरू हो गए, तो हमारे यहाँ वल्चर की पॉपुलेशन पे भी एक एडवर्स इम्पैक्ट पड़ा, और हाइना जैसे एक स्कैवेंजर पे भी बहुत नहीं है इनकी संख्या का, पर एक सामान्य समझ से हम मानते हैं कि इनकी संख्या भी बहुत तेजी से कम हो रही है। वाइल्ड डॉग है, ये सोन कुत्ता कहते हैं, ये ग्रुप में रहते हैं, पैक में हंटिंग करते हैं, और ये आमतौर पे घने जंगलों में रहते हैं, इसलिए इनकी संख्या मोर और लेस वैसी ही है। आप कान्हा में, पेंच में या सतपुड़ा टाइगर रिजर्व में इनको देख सकते हो। कई बार टेरिटोरियल फॉरेस्ट में भी आप इनसे देख सकते हैं। अपने सिवनी जिले के लिए मैं कह सकता हूँ टेरिटोरियल फॉरेस्ट में भी सोन कुत्ते की पॉपुलेशन है। ये एक जानवर है जो हम सब लोग बहुत आसानी से देखते हैं, पूरे मध्य प्रदेश के ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में बहुत ज्यादा है। सियार है ये, और हम उसको हाउलिंग करते हुए शाम के समय देख पाते हैं। यहां मैं ये 2 फोटोग्राफ रखा हूं, ये दूसरा भी सियार है। केवल ये अंतर बताने के लिए है कि किसी भी जो वन्य प्राणी का कोट ठंड में और गर्मी में अलग अलग होता है। तो जो पहला फोटोग्राफ था, काफी रोएदार दिख रहा है आपको स्किन, ये इसका विंटर कोट है, ठंड के समय ऐसा होता है, और गर्मी में इसके बाल झड़ जाते हैं ताकि उस गर्मी को ये थोड़ा सा एकोमोडेट कर सके। और ये हमारा सबसे छोटा डॉग स्पीशीज है हमारे मध्य प्रदेश के वन क्षेत्रों का। हालांकि ये वन क्षेत्रों के अलावा खेती के क्षेत्रों में भी काफी रहता है। इसको लोमड़ी कहते हैं, फॉक्स। कई बार लोग लोमड़ी और सियार में कंफ्यूज करते हैं, पर लोमड़ी बहुत छोटे आकार का जानवर है, लगभग 8-9 किलो तक ही इसका वजन होता है, और जबकि सियार का वजन लगभग इससे दुगना 13, 14, 15 या 16 किलो तक भी हो सकता है। उसके अलावा हमारे प्रदेश के 2 बड़े फेमस सर्वाहारी जीव हैं, एक भालू जो मेरा मानना है कि नागौद के फार्म में भी है, और दूसरा ये वाइल्ड पिग या जंगली सुअर। हालांकि अब इसको एक तरह से कई बार पेस्ट मान लिया गया है, खेतों में बहुत ज्यादा ये क्रॉप रेडिंग के लिए आते हैं, बट है तो ये वाइल्ड एनिमल और शेड्यूल से प्रोटेक्टेड है ये वाइल्ड लाइफ एक्ट में। हमारे यहाँ एक बहुत बड़ा कंफ्यूजन हिरण और मृग को लेके आम जनता में होता है, स्टूडेंट के बीच भी होता है। तो मैं चाहूंगा कि स्टूडेंट इस अंतर को समझे। हिरण प्रजाति के जानवर हम उनको कहते हैं जिनके जो एंटलर में ब्रांचिंग होती है। आप यहाँ पे जो वन्य प्राणी देख रहे हैं उसके कई ब्रांच हैं, 6 ब्रांच दिख पा रहे हैं बड़े आराम से। तो ये जो ब्रांचिंग होती है वो हिरण होते हैं, या अंग्रेजी में जिसे डियर कहते हैं। और यहाँ पर यह सांभर डियर है, और ये जो दिख रहा है ये भी सांभर डियर है। यहाँ भी मैं यही केवल बताना चाहता था कि इनके कलर में भी बहुत वेरिएशन होता है, जैसे इंसानों के कलर में वेरिएशन होता है, कोई बहुत उजले कलर का होता है और कोई गहरे कलर का। तो एनिमल में सीजनल और इंडिविजुअल वेरिएशन भी बहुत होते हैं। तो ये भी सांभर ही है, और कई बार लोग एंटलर के ब्रांचिंग को देख के इसे बारहसिंगा मान लेते हैं, पर ये बारहसिंगा नहीं है। ये वन्य प्राणी बारहसिंगा है जो हमारे मध्य प्रदेश का राज्य पशु है। पहले केवल कान्हा में बचा हुआ था, लेकिन हमारे तमाम संरक्षण प्रयासों से अब ये कान्हा के अलावा सतपुड़ा टाइगर रिजर्व में, माधवगढ़ में और वन विहार नेशनल पार्क में भी है। अगेन ये दोनों भी बारहसिंगा नर और मादा हैं। जब इनका मीटिंग पीरियड होता है तो नर इस तरह से अपने शरीर के चारों तरफ कीचड़ लपेट लेता है, और कई बार अपने एंटलर पे घास भी सजाता है। तो ये डियर प्रजाति की खासियत होती है। सांभर और चीतल भी इस तरह की चीजें करते हैं। तो जो तीसरा डियर है जो हमारे प्रदेश का सबसे पॉपुलर और कॉमन डियर है, टाइगर के लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट फूड स्पीशीज भी है, वह यह चीतल डियर है। एक ये हमारे यहाँ पे और होता है जिसको बार्किंग डियर कहते हैं, और ये आकार में बहुत छोटा होता है। ऊपर के तीनों जो डियर हैं वो समूह में ही रहना पसंद करते हैं। बार्किंग डियर आमतौर पर जोड़े में रहना पसंद करता है, जोड़े के अलावा इसको आप ज्यादा संख्या में नहीं देख पाएंगे जंगल में। और ये ट्रू डियर तो नहीं है, पर माउस डियर है, हमारे यहाँ की एक प्रजाति है। मैंने इसको डियर में ही ले लिया है। बहुत कम दिखता है क्योंकि नॉक्टर्नल है और बहुत साइज में छोटा होता है, नाम ही है माउस डियर या मुशक डियर। फिर मृग क्या होते हैं? तो जो मृग होते हैं ना, उनके सींग गाय के सींग के जैसे ही होते हैं, एक जोड़ी सींग होते हैं आमतौर पे। तो ये हमारा काला ब्लैक बक है, सॉरी ब्लैक बक नहीं, ब्लू बुल है, और रोजड़ा इसको कहते हैं। ये भी आपके रीवा क्षेत्र में भी क्रॉप ब्रीडिंग की बहुत बड़ी समस्या है। आप में से जिनके यहाँ भी खेत होंगे वो खेत में कई बार ये रोजड़ा आ जाता है, फसल का नुकसानी करता है। ये फीमेल है, और ये ब्लैक बक है। हमारे मध्य प्रदेश में खेतों में बहुत आयत से हैं, हालांकि लोग इनको टॉलरेट कर रहे हैं। नर्मदा जी के जो पूरे प्लेन्स हैं उन प्लेन्स में बहुत ज्यादा संख्या में है ये। और किसी समय बगदरा सेंचुरी जो कि सीधी जिले में है, वहां भी ये बहुत भारी संख्या में होते थे, पर अब पोचिंग और तमाम दूसरे कारणों से संख्या बहुत थोड़ी बची है, शायद 200-300 है। ये चिंकारा है, ये भी बहुत सारी जगहों पे रेवेन्यू एरिया में भी और ओपन फॉरेस्ट एरिया में, स्क्रब फॉरेस्ट एरिया में मिलता है। और ये एक एंटीलोप है जो जिसके 4 सींग होते हैं, इसको चौसिंगा कहते हैं। कम दिखता है और पूरे मध्य प्रदेश में है भी बहुत कम, सारी जगहों पे आमतौर पे मिलता है ये देखिए इसके ऐसे 4 सींग दिखते हैं। उसके अलावा पक्षियों की बहुत विविधता है। मेरे अनुमान है कि हमारे यहाँ लगभग 450 से ज्यादा पक्षी होंगे मध्य प्रदेश में। मैं कुछ खास पक्षियों के बारे में बताऊंगा। ये पक्षी जिसको ग्रेट इंडियन बस्टर्ड कहते हैं, इसी समय इसे हमारा भारत का राष्ट्रीय पक्षी भी बनाए जाने की बात हो रही थी, लेकिन तमाम ऐसे कारणों से, क्योंकि ये अपने अंडे देना खेतों में आता है, रेवेन्यू एरिया में आता है, और धीरे धीरे इसके अंडों की और इसकी भी पोचिंग मीट के लिए काफी होती है। और अब मध्य प्रदेश में तो शायद 10 साल से ज्यादा हो गए हैं, नहीं दिखा है, पर हम अभी भी आशा करते हैं, क्योंकि वाइल्ड लाइफ इंस्टीट्यूट राजस्थान में इसका ब्रीडिंग प्रोग्राम चला रहा है, और जब एक बार पक्षी उड़ के आएगा और उसको हमारे प्रदेश में यदि उपयुक्त जगह मिली तो वो यहाँ फिर से ब्रीडिंग कर सकता है। हम इस आशा में हैं। रैया भी कहते हैं, ये एक दूसरा पक्षी है। ये भी दुनिया के सबसे इंडेंजर्ड बर्ड्स में है। हमारे यहाँ मॉनसून में आता है। इसे खरमोर कहते हैं या लेसर फ्लोरिकन कहते हैं। ये हमारे धार, झाबुआ, नीमच इन जिलों में अभी भी आता है, लगभग 15-20 जोड़े। ये एक और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पक्षी है, बहुत उतना इंडेंजर्ड तो नहीं है सोनचरैया खरमोर जैसे, लेकिन है बड़ा रेयर, इंडियन स्कीमर। ये हमारे जगहों में आता है। और वल्चर है हमारे यहाँ पे, लगभग 4-5 तरह के वल्चर हैं। वो वल्चर है। ये हमारा स्टेट बर्ड है दूधराज। ये इसका नॉन ब्रीडिंग प्लूमेज है, इसका एक ब्रीडिंग प्लूमेज भी होता है, तो उसमें भी ये रहता है। फिर पैंगोलिन हमारे यहाँ पे है। पैंगोलिन बहुत ही पोचिंग के लिए इंडेंजर्ड स्पीशीज है। तो यही कुछ महत्वपूर्ण पक्षी और पशु थे जिनके बारे में मैं आपको बताना चाह रहा था। मैं देख रहा हूँ टाइम भी शॉर्ट है और एक और मीटिंग के लिए मुझे बुलाया जा रहा है। सो आपके यदि और कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो काइंडली आप पूछ लें।
That's a wonderful presentation, Rajneesh ji. What a presentation. What's up to you? The house is now open to questions. Please, anybody.
रजनीश सर, आप पेंच टाइगर रिजर्व में है, थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में एक 1-2 मिनट के लिए विशेष।
तो जो पेंच टाइगर रिजर्व है वो मध्य प्रदेश के 6 टाइगर रिजर्व्स में से एक टाइगर रिजर्व है। आकार में तो सबसे छोटा है और हमारे कोर एरिया में एक बहुत बड़ा रिजर्वायर भी है, उस वजह से लैंड एरिया और भी कम हो जाता है। लेकिन इन टर्म्स ऑफ द वाइल्ड लाइफ वन ऑफ द बेस्ट एरिया है। और अभी का जो एस्टिमेशन है, पेंच लैंडस्केप में लगभग 123 टाइगर है और हमारा लैंड एरिया कोर करीब 350 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर है। तो उस लिहाज से देखें तो वेरी हाई डेंसिटी एरिया है। और हमारे यहाँ की एक और खासियत है कि हमारे यहाँ ग्रासलैंड्स नहीं है, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ जंगलों में ही इतनी घास है कि वो बहुत सारा चीतल पॉपुलेशन बहुत थ्राइव करती है। और पेंच में लगभग 40 से 50 हजार चीतलों का अनुमान है। वो डेंसिटी वाइज इंडिया में वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट है। और पेंच का एसोसिएशन मोगली से भी रहा है। जो जंगल बुक की स्टोरी है उसका इंस्पिरेशन रुडयार्ड किपलिंग ने पेंच से ही लिया था। तब तो पेंच नहीं हुआ करता था, सिवनी जिले से लिया था। तो यही 2-3 इसके बारे में महत्वपूर्ण बात है।
एक्सक्यूज, हेलो
जी प्लीज।
डॉक्टर सत्यनारायण।
I am retired Prof. Satyanarayana from Department of Wildlife Biology, AVC College, Mayiladuthurai, Tamil Nadu. Excellent presentation. And actually, I would like to know what is your chances of getting the line from the Gir National Park? Is it you are going to be success in that, or still it may be very difficult?
Person, sir. Otherwise, this is a bit a critical issue. But I'm quite optimistic the lion themselves will walk in Madhya Pradesh someday. Because the way Gujarat is managing them, their population is increasing. And once the population will increase and the wild animal don't follow any administrative boundary.
Right.
So once ever they will find the situation conducive, they themselves will work down.
We will expect a good thing to come up. Thank you very much.
If there are no questions, only one question, please. Anybody? Okay.
Mine is not question, but excellent presentation, Rajnish ji. Nice.
Thank you.
I think your students from this university enjoyed your presentation. It's a good presentation.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful.
प्रोफेसर आर.के. श्रीवास्तव सर, co-chair. हाँ सर, कोई क्वेश्चन है? नायक सर.
No, Srivastav ji, please, your comments or whatever you want to say. Srivastav ji, Professor Srivastav ji. Mute हो गया है आपका.
Unmute yourself, sir.
Unmute yourself.
Yes. Thank you very much. Shri Rajneesh Singh ji has given a very excellent lecture today, and it was very informative as well as very interesting. Our knowledge has increased, and he has given a vivid account about this wildlife present in the Pench Tiger Reserve, including the bird type fauna, threatened species, endangered species. One observation I would like to know if there is any possibility for जैसा कि चल रहा है कि चीता जो अपने यहाँ आए हुए हैं बहुत से उसमें से नहीं रहे, तो क्या is there any possibility we can keep them in the Pench Tiger Reserve?
Sir, that's a too long distant dream, but I'm not the cheetah expert, sir, and let the cheetah expert decide where they should be. But definitely,
just as a layman,
the food for the cheetahs are going for from Pench only. So till date, we have already supplied some 700 plus spotted deer to Kuno for the cheetahs. And but if it is suitable habitat or not suitable habitat, that the only expert can tell who are expert in cheetah.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rajneesh Singh ji. Thank you, Nayak sir. Thank you, Mishra sir, and all the dignitaries present here. Thank you very much.
Nayak sir.
One thing I would like to say, students are there and so many faculty members from different institutes are there, that nowadays we are promoting internship program from 1 week internship to 3 month internship. So if any of the students, those who are willing to do any kind of internship in Pench Tiger Reserve, they can reach out to us, and there is very less formalities involved, and we would like to host you for your internship program. So whoever is listening, they all are most welcome. And you can take my phone number from Dr. Skand Mishra. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rajneesh ji. Final comments, a few comments only. Madhya Pradesh is the tiger state of India. It has almost 800 tigers. It's not only that. Also, it's actually the best management practices for the tiger reserves have evolved from this place. So all across the world, people come to Madhya Pradesh to learn about the management practices. And so that's another takeaway from this Madhya Pradesh management. And although it's in fact the Central Indian landscape, particularly Madhya Pradesh, is the producer of dispersing tigers. So tigers, they disperse from one landscape to other landscape. And this particular landscape provides so many dispersing tigers to occupy the areas where they're very less, like Odisha, Telangana, these areas, So it's also doing a wonderful job. And the first, rewilding is very important for conservation of biodiversity, both for fauna and flora. This rewilding of tigers, one very technical thing that has been initiated from Kanha Tiger Reserve from Madhya Pradesh. So a little bit about biodiversity. Biodiversity loss has been a cause for concern for all of us. We need to halt biodiversity loss at any cost. Biodiversity loss is definitely related to or connected to sustainable development, but we don't have any relationship, nothing to show that if biodiversity is lost, our sustainable development is going to be affected. So we need to develop a multi-dimensional biodiversity index, and we want to develop that, and we want to show that yes, it has a connect with the sustainable development. So once that is done, we can go to the politicians, policymakers, and bureaucrats and say that yes, biodiversity loss is very important for the sustainable development. And then also it becomes easy for us to mainstream this biodiversity conservation in development agenda. So that's very important so long as biodiversity conservation is concerned. And one more thing, last thing is that the key biodiversity areas. We have a number of plant protected areas, we have a tiger reserve, we have so many things, but that's not enough, because the improper land use has been the single most factor for the loss of terrestrial biodiversity over the years. In fact, this improper land use has to be halted. For that matter, it's very important that the biodiversity conservation is mainstreamed in the development agenda. So for that matter, we need to identify key biodiversity areas. That's there. Global criteria are there. We can adopt that global criteria and then adapt to our local or regional needs and identify small areas where these rare, threatened, critically endangered species, both flora and fauna. I'm not talking about only fauna. I'm talking about also flora. They are also present particularly at some point of their life cycle. So we need to identify that. All of us are available. All of us should combinedly make it happen. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद डॉक्टर अनुप नायक सर, चेयरपर्सन ऑफ सेशन, को चेयरपर्सन डॉक्टर रतन कुमार श्रीवास्तव सर, और आज के इस सेशन के जो इमिनेंट स्पीकर श्री मिस्टर रजनीश कुमार सिंह जी, बहुत अच्छा आपने यहाँ पे मध्य प्रदेश के बारे में और खासकर स्टूडेंट को हिंदी में जो यहाँ के मुख्य रूप से स्टूडेंट जानते हैं उस पर आपने बहुत सी जानकारी और बहुत अच्छी फोटो जो है और जो धरोहर, जो पुरानी धरोहर है उनको भी जानने का मौका आपने दिया है। डॉक्टर अनूप नायक सर ने अपने बहुत ही अच्छे व्यू यहाँ पर दिए हैं और निश्चित रूप से ऑडियंस के लिए बहुत लाभदायी होगा। मैं सभी को महाविद्यालय की ओर से और इस कार्यक्रम के ऑर्गेनाइजर होने के नाते बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं और सभी को सर, थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू। नेक्स्ट सेशन नाउ, आवर नेक्स्ट सेशन चेयरपर्सन प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर राधा चौबे, प्रोफेसर ऑफ जूलॉजी, BHU वाराणसी, को चेयरपर्सन डॉक्टर ममता शर्मा, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर जूलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट, गवर्नमेंट राज ऋषि ऑटोनॉमस कॉलेज अलवर, राजस्थान। आवर इमिनेंट स्पीकर प्रोफेसर MC सत्यनारायणा, रिटायर्ड एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर वाइल्ड लाइफ, ABC कॉलेज, चेन्नई, तमिलनाडु। वेलकम ऑल ऑफ यू। मैडम राधा चौबे से मैं निवेदन करूंगा कि वो चेयर करें और अपने हमारे इमिनेंट स्पीकर प्रोफेसर MC सत्यनारायण को इंट्रोड्यूस करें।
Okay, thank you, sir. So it's a pleasure to introduce Dr. MC Satyanarayana, who is the key speaker of this session. So it's a great privilege for me to introduce him. So Dr. Satyanarayana is a retired associate professor from the Department of Zoology and Wildlife Biology, AVC College Autonomous, and to his there are a lot of credentials are there. So he has a research experience of over 35 years and teaching experience of 29 years, including BSc, MSc and MPhil. So he has already associated with many projects and responsibilities to his credit. Like he was senior research fellow for ICMR project and DST project during 1980 and 81. And he has studied the survey of fish parasites of in the mango grove forest. In addition to this, he has also been associated with where he has guided more than 7 PhD students and published 3 books and many book chapters. And he has also produced many articles as newsletter articles. And he has associated with various seminar and symposium, international and nationally, to his credit, and published more than 90 abstracts. So to him, there is a list of awards are there. So to name few of them, he has received Internichi UK Award for Animal Welfare Activities, International Network for Human Education, and he has also been awarded with Vocation Service Award for Outstanding Contribution in the Field of Research Award by Rotary Club of Miyaladurai, and he is in his excellence. He has undertaken many research projects under the ambience of or guidance of the Ministry of Environment and Forest Research Department. So it's really a long list. He has visited many countries like Nepal, Ethiopia with his expertise, and he has been advisory board member of the Bharati Dasan University. And further, I would like to also mention that he is one of the best CP nominee of the CPCSEA committee, and he has served the Ministry of Animal Welfare Division, Government of India. So he has also been various members of the ethical committees throughout the India. Like we can mention many parts of the country like Chennai, Tuticorin, Trichy, then Vellore, different parts of the other states also. And he has been an excellent nominee for IAC committee member. Further, there is a long list to mention about his credentials. So now I would like to invite him to deliver his lecture. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'll share the mic.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay, I'll try my slideshow. Now it's visible?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
You can make it full screen, sir.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not coming full screen. Yeah, I have some comparative problem. I'll go ahead with this because there's some problem.
Okay, sir. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chaba Madam, for having introduced me to the all participants. Today, really, I'm very glad and also grateful to Professor Skand Mishra, Head Department of Botany Coordinator, Convener of Webinar Series, and also the Organizing Committee of Government MS Golvalkar College for having given me an opportunity to participate. Here, I take this opportunity, especially to Mishra ji, for having continuous efforts in organizing number of seminars and also maybe national and international webinar. And also today, I'm very happy that he has brought out the proceedings. It's a very biggest task for any organizer. I'm very happy that he has, with all his efforts, he has brought out an excellent proceedings of the first webinar. Really, I congratulate, and also he has got a number of the webinars. It is a very rare thing, and also I take this the opportunity to thank the government college. See, we all in India, we think that the government college didn't know. He has proved that the government colleges also doing excellent work, and he is a model for the government colleges. See, government colleges also do wonderful things. He is a good model. Okay, now today's topic. Before that, I would like to say, we know that we are all in the digital world. We talk about digital India, digital age. When everything is digital, why not our animals? Now I would ask to address you why I entered into the digital world to conserve animals. So my slide is visible. Okay. Now I will just address you that why and need for the animal alternatives. What are the current challenges in the conservation of the biodiversity? Now I would like to emphasize that the role of the digital technology in the conservation of animals used in the education or in the zoology curriculum or in the other branches. Now, what is the background? In 2001, I realized actually in BSc, MSc, from 1968 to 1974, I have killed amphibians, dissected practicals for my course. In 1981, I joined in the AVC College, Department of Wildlife Biology. There I killed, dissected number of amphibians and reptiles. Not only that, I also forced my students to join me in killing these animals. Not only that, in MSc Wildlife Biology project, UGC minor project, I have killed a number of amphibians just to know about the helminth parasites. Then he realized in 2001, as an educator, teaching wildlife biology, biodiversity conservation, as a wildlife conservationist, as a CPC animal welfare nominee, the committee for the purpose of control supervision of experiment on CPC, then I realized why killing animals? Is it justified? Now, in view of this, I planned for conducting a workshop, invited the college teachers in Bharatdas University area, 21 colleges in 2001. That time, all the teachers said zoology means dissecting or killing the animals. Why do you want to have an alternative? That is the age of 2001. And also, just I had a great opportunity to collaborate with Nick Dukes, International United Kingdom, where he has organized a number of workshops in Lucknow, Chandigarh, New Delhi, Nagpur, and Kolkata. I had an opportunity to sensitize in zoology teachers. Now also I have just participated in the number of conferences. We also conducted a number of workshops inviting college teachers in our college. That is the background for that. And fortunately, and we are very proud that in India, the Mahatma Gandhi Doran Cap Center for Alternative Use of Animal in Life Science, and we have at the team leader is Akbar Shah, and we have team member Professor K.K. Sharma from the MDS University, Ajmer, Rajasthan, and we are able to conduct a number of workshops throughout India in different states. Now I want to say, what are the reasons in order to have the digital technology to replace our dissections? One is the pedagogical practice, biodiversity, wildlife conservation, environmental concerns, legal concerns, legal protection of animals, ethical issues are the 3 R's principle, animal welfare are the activist groups. Now we all know that we have killed a number of amphibians in the name of dissection in education, like Aplopatricus tigrinus, Aplopatricus crassus, Limnoricus, and Euplectus synopticus, Bophobenus. Like these are the various amphibians we have killed, and not only in thousands, lakhs of frogs all these days. Now you all know that dissection is the act of cutting in pieces an animal in order to ascertain structures of it, like this. Dissect, to cut into parts for purpose of minute examine, divide and examine, like your amphibians and also the reptiles. Okay. Use of amphibians education for the practicals. We have used the amphibians, for example, the practicals. At +2 levels, you have 500 frogs per year per school. Think about how many millions of frogs or lakhs of frogs were used. Coming to the colleges, if you look at the BSc Zoology, we have 1,500 frogs per year per college. In MSc Zoology, 500 frogs per year college. In the distance education, 2,000 frogs per year in the different universities. In addition to that, the science colleges, we have the medical and pharmacy colleges, we have MBBS and MD curriculum, we have in the B Pharma and M Pharma. Also, we use number of frogs, not only for your curriculum, but also for your project work or for the research programs. Okay. Now, already told you the animal dissection is a controversial pedagogic practice. The pedagogy in zoology lab in India involves dissection wherein animals are. Why I said the controversial? There are students, they accept or refuse it. Dissection, they will accept or refuse. And number of the activist group also taken up this chance to say not to use these animals which are used as the biodiversity conservation. Now coming to as a teacher, as an educator, we know that the age of biodiversity, because we know that the Madhav, Rewa, or the number of the biodiversity program webinars. So this is the age of biodiversity. I or we teach and we taught biodiversity concept, wildlife conservation, sustainable development, sustainable living in the classroom. The same teacher or the teachers, when you go to the practical classes, zoology laboratories, we kill frogs, coyotes, other wild animals for the practicals in the laboratory. We also make students to kill animals. Now, as zoology and life science teacher, researchers to biodiversity conservation, as we're doing justification, I used to address myself. In one theory class, I emphasized that we have to protect, we have to conserve under the biodiversity conservation. But the same teacher as a biodiversity conservation, we ignored this concept and we started. Then I realized that I said it justified. Another thing is that animals are supplied. We know that as zoology teachers know that the frogs are small size, they're tadpole-like structure, unable to dissect and demonstrate probably. Same thing with the student. So I said the just cartoon biology, frog dissection. Sorry about this, but I am only following orders of my teachers. Okay, what is the impact when you do all this dissection for in education? Animals caught from the wild, we all know that, and they killed. And already I given the statistics, and this is one of the, as I said, not only this is the one of the reasons in the decline of the population of the Euphlyctus hexadactylus, earlier known as Rana species, Aplobacterus tigrinus, Euphlyctus cynophyctus, and Casasus, and Limnorectus limnocar. So there is a decline of trend. So if you look at the IUCN red list of threatened species, Euphlyctus hexadactylus is considered as one of the endangered species. This is the biggest environmental concern. Collection and removal of animals from the wild contributed to ecosystem imbalance. Now, this is a very important slide. Animal protection problems. Next, it's a very unfortunate. How many of us are aware of the legal protection, especially the educators teaching zoology? There are national laws and regulations, and unfortunately, ignorance of laws and regulations is not. That's what I used to address throughout India for all the college teachers. And it's very sad to know that animal protection laws disregarded, animal laws are largely neglected. We are excellent lawmakers. At the same time, the teachers, the lawbreakers. Protecting laws and regulations are the effective threatening conservation tool. I have used the laws or the effective threatening conservation tool for my mission and vision in the sensitizing the zoology teachers. Our nation recognizes animals in the Constitution. I request all of you remember the Constitution of India, Section 51(a)(g), required from its citizens as a fundamental of our duty. It shall be the duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have a compassion for all. How many of us know the 51(a)(g), the fundamental law? And again, Constitution of Day, some with in India on 26th November every year to commemorate the adoption of Constitution of India. On this Constitution Day, we reiterate our pledge to always uphold the Constitution of India. So I request all the zoology educators to remember this Constitution Day so that we can conserve biodiversity. And another law is the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960, an act to prevent infliction of unnecessary pain or suffering on animals, and for the purpose to attend the law relating to the prevention of cruelty. Another prevention of cruelty in 1960 says that Section 17 2D that experiments on animals are avoided wherever it is possible to do. So, for example, in medical schools, hospital, college, and like if other teaching devices like the CD-ROMs, mannequins, online resources, in vitro lab, microbiological source are available. Okay. The other very important act is that the Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972, Schedule 4, that in freshwater frogs, all the Rana species are included in the wild. How many zoology teachers know? Even I do not know. Once I joined the ABC College Wildlife Department, since I forced to teach the Indian Wildlife Act or the other legal issues, then only I know. As a zoology student teacher, we never know. We ignore the existing Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1970, especially the frogs, Schedule 4, Euphlyctus, and illegal to collect, kill, and preserve, not only in zoology lab, in the museum also. So we procure the for the museums also these specimens without knowing the law. And also the university in 2006 also the university granted same number of notifications or letters. It's very sorry that I have not seen, we have not seen. The zoology teacher will accept that they will send it to universities, they may forward the college, it may be lying with the principal or HOD, it is never circulated to the faculty. We are all ignore that. Now, in the case of your university or college has procured any plant or animal protected under the Wildlife Protection Act, the same may be surrendered immediately. And we also, in 2006, for the museum specimen, we also ignored this. We do not know this. And also guidelines for discussion of animal experimentation in 2011. And also we have number of notification from the University Grant Commission and the Minister of Environment. Even the Teacher Training Institute also sent letter that not to use the procure the animals. And also UNESCO last year in 2000 doing the dissection using these animals. The other reason is the ethical issues. We must also give important to the ethical issues. See, animal ethics very, very important. You must have a human approach. Animal rights should be addressed. Indiscriminate and purposeless killing of animals are unethical. Strict adherence to a code of ethics, human treatment during experiment, human method of sacrificing, improper to inflict pain or death. So you know that very well. When you want to dissect the frog or carrot, what we will do? We have used to pour the chloroform on it and mercilessly we kill. For information, most of the college teachers or colleges, they do not know the chloroform is banned to anesthetize. Now we have the other drugs like ketamine, Cefatec, but we do not know. Even now in the pharmacy college, they use the chloroform and it is unethical. There is a universal right to life, universal right to liberty. And how many of us know the 3 R's? 3 R's, the ethical issues, we must all remember Russell and Rex Birch, replacement, reduction, refinement. One is that wherever possible, you replace with the animals. What we can do is reuse of live animals like your frog or carrotis, reduce the number of animals and refine the procedure. That's why I request you, that's what digital technology plays a role. Now, other thing, reason for our digital alternatives is that the animal activist group, now they play a very good major role in sensitizing all teachers. They have the activist group, they entered number of universities, colleges to prevent us from doing the research because they know the laws. So we must be very cautious about the regulations. So aforesaid factors are pressures on educators to replace present practice of animal kill for dissection. Now, why innovative digital alternatives? Now, this is called technology-driven teaching. See, I don't say it's an animal alternative. It is called the technology-driven teaching methodology, refinement in the teaching methodology, keeping with time and our challenges in the biodiversity era or biodiversity age or in the digital era. One important thing I used to address for all these years, the zoology expert educator, most of the teach the way in which we were taught. Suppose my teachers trained me in dissecting the nervous system frog, the calotes, I must also, rather than the way in which we learned. I learned in it differently, but I never practiced that. Simply, where I just learned earthworm nervous system or the frog or calotes artery system, my students must also follow that without knowing what is the significance of that. This is the one piteous thing. Now, I also emphasize that the teachers, especially, you must, even the biodiversity conservationists or our managers in the protected area like wildlife sanctuaries or the national park, our managers should also do that. You must do today's job with today's tools. If you do today's job with yesterday's tool, tomorrow you'll be out of the business. That's why I emphasize that technology-driven teaching methodology, keeping your talent should be followed for today's business. Now we know that transformation. We know that we have used the blackboard, we have used the charts, we have used the overhead projector, we have used the slide projector, and now in my college, what I did is, and just we talk the with this microscope, we are just attached to the television and monitor, and we used to demonstrate the students those days, and we have now the LCD, and this advancement, and we have the webinar. So these are the various transformation method, teaching method. So we have to be changed in our curriculum, or we have education system. Teachers must be aware of the modern technologies in teaching, training of college university teachers to convert traditional zoology dissection laboratories into digital laboratories like this. And the educator must have a thirst for e-learning. And now we are converting the digital lab. This is the digital lab. Now, there are a number of digital alternatives. We have the multimedia computer simulators, CD-ROM, now considered as an effective, non-invasive, viable replacement alternatives, techniques to animal dissection. We have a number of digital alternatives. We have CD-ROMs like this. We are used to see dissection watch. We can just cut open virtually. We can cut open the animals like what you do in the live animal. We have the simulators for physiological. Earlier, we used to kill the number of frogs for the physical practice. For the heart studies, we do the chymograph and we recording. We kill the number of frogs. Now there is no need. There are a number of digital softwares, and also not even with the mobile apps. We have the Android mobile apps where we can also use this. We have the interactive software, online simulators. You can make use the online, show it to a student, demonstrate to a student. We have a number of YouTube also. You can just try with this alternative. You can also have now the teachers used to ask wherever we go there, how to then assess the student. Yeah, there are softwares. We can assess we can have the practical record evaluation. We have the print the screen and Word document. Ask the student to have the dissection work, and we can also do like this for assessment methods. And also we have the quiz there. Now, I also tried in my traditional zoology laboratory yesterday school, zoology digital virtual lab. They're converting now like this in number of college, Coimbatore, in the A.P.S college. We are converting into the digital laboratory. And also in the beginning 1997, I tried in my zoology laboratory just with a small way. With a single cup BSc zoology teacher, exposed with that. We have trained them how to use the digital technology. And also, I want to inform to the zoology teacher that there is a UGC grants. You can also make use of the basic grant to make the convert into the digital laboratory, purchase the computer, purchase the digital alternatives or the software like this. You have the provision. You not worry about that. From the basic grants you can buy. In addition to the dissection, we have the museums. We also violated the animal protection laws in the. We are very proud that even I say that we have 1 lakh specimens in the zoology museum in my college. We have very proud, but how we did it for the taxidermy? We have we caught the birds from the wild. We have used the technique called taxidermy, that is preserving these birds by removing all the gut, and we do like this. This is the taxidermy, and that means we have ignored the biodiversity concept. Even in the wildlife biology I joined, I have also trapped a number of birds and other animals, and we have preserved like this, unfortunately. And there is a notification in 2006, already told you that we could not procure. Even if we can procure, it should be informed to the concerned district forest officer, or concerned the wildlife department, or your state wildlife board, or your principal chief conservator of forest, or the wildlife warden of the concerned department. And this is very because anytime any wildlife officer can just come and have an inspection, and if you have the wild animal in there, you will be prosecuted. The principal of this college or institute will be prosecuted. It is not also, you try to make a list of what are the animals are there into that, and inform the forest department, get a possession certificate from most of the college. They do not.
Please conclude, sir.
Hello?
Please conclude, sir.
Okay. In 5 minutes I'll come. It's only, okay, 2:10. Okay. Okay. So then we have the best conservation strategy. You can make use of the digital technology by using cameras. Okay. We have the digital museum. You convert all the specimens into the digital museum like this. And what I did is, I just take the photograph, convert into description for the spotters identification, and through the computer, we can show it. And also, Mahatma Gandhi Center and Use Animals in Life Sciences motivated teachers like Akbar Shah and K.K. Sharma and myself conduct a number of things. And alternatives, we have advantages, financial savings, wise utilization of the resources, reduce the environmental impact and plays a significant role in the conservation of the biodiversity. And what is my mission and vision? All this program 2001 I started. Now I'm very happy that the outcome is I have saved thousands of frogs and calotes used in the education. That is the biodiversity. This is the real biodiversity. The teachers can come forward like this to join the mission. And lastly, why awareness? It is a sensitizing talk. If you are thinking of 1 year ahead, plant trees. If you are thinking of 10 years ahead, plant trees. If you are thinking of 100 years, educate the people like this, awareness program. And lastly, the digital technology. After conducting in the Coimbatore, the students of A.P.S has put the table. I am escaped thanks to digital technology in digital world. So I take this opportunity to thank the Vishra for having given me an opportunity, and also the chairman. Thank you very much.
Yes. Dr. Radha madam, please.
Thank you, sir, for very nice talk. And I would like